All right, guys, we're going to start broadcasting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Xvox, Voice of the Xbox Community. This is episode 89, and we have a full panel, tons of news, and no Daniel, because it's going to be a long show. And that guy just doesn't do long shows. I'm going to call him out right now. He was like, man, I can't handle it. I can't handle the news, can't handle the rush. I gotta take my time. So he's going to be back next week. But let's start off who we do have here. Steve, thanks for coming back on the show. You're amazing. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Stevie,
Live from England.
Our international show.
And you've changed your website, right? You had a .com on there?
Yep. If you go to www.steverules.com, it will send you to steverules.co.uk.
No, but can't you just make it .com?
I can, but I was wary of breaking anything without doing any research. So I need to. I bought it, and then I've got it forwarding right now, and then later on I'll fix it so that it probably just is .com.
Okay, I was about to say, just go to the Xbox Uncut motto of just break it. Fix it later. Welcome to the show, Tim.
hey,
Speaking
what's
of,
up?
Tim is not on camera this week, but he'll be back on camera next week. I heard you're going with the GoPro after what happened last time when you were on camera and you kept messing with the camera.
Yeah, I gotta get something that secures, good to the TV.
Yeah, that's cool. We also have Michael. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hey, good to be alive and messing with chat, posting some Kappa faces, having some fun. Yeah, I got some stuff to talk about this week, and it's a good week. We got a lot of news to go through when we get there. So,
Yep, and then we also have the one and only Vern.
Yeah, it's the throat, not
The
golden
golden
throat,
throat.
right?
Well-
No, we're shortening it, right?
You know what?
throat.
I think it's either golden or the throat.
I like golden better.
That way we can move on to Golden Girls whenever you and Maria do a show together.
All right, that sounds good. I like the Golden Girls, man. I grew up on that shit. My grandma watched that all the goddamn time.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad show. I'm just saying.
Thank you guys for being friends.
And we have a special guest this week. Welcome to the show, Gene.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
No, you're one of the people we apologize every time we screw up the podcast. So
Oh,
I'd just like to make a
man.
personal apology to Gene. But thank you for joining
Oh no,
us.
it's a great podcast. Yeah. I've been listening since day one, so it's about time.
Day one. Wow.
Wow.
Then
Yeah,
I
well,
really do
bad
mean it. I am
stuff.
so sorry.
the fact
Dude,
that
I
you
remember
stuck
there was
with
a-
us for that
There was
long,
a podcast with you had like this guy doing like the Joker impressions on there, man.
Yes.
Those are
Oh,
back
yeah.
in the day.
Is that the Smurfy guy or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That wasn't- that
Sounded
wasn't
so
Smurf, that
real.
was Somebody else.
Oh.
Why
Can't
so
remember what it
serious? All right. But, Gene, you're the only one that wrote us this week. And that's our letters. We brought them. It's like show and tell, almost. It's like, there he
There you
is. There's the letter.
Probably good we don't have letters, but we got a lot of news.
Yes. Yeah, actually, it's kind of a good thing. We have so much
Yeah.
news to go over this week. But thank you so much for joining us, Gene. And, writing in and asking us to be on the podcast. And you, too, can be on the podcast. All you got to do is say, hey, I'm going to be on the podcast at letters@xboxuncut.com. I'm going to sit there and make you download like 3 pieces of software, and then you're going to hate me afterwards, and you'll never listen to the show again. But
Don't worry, Dustin will hate you more.
At least you
Yeah.
tried.
at least you tried. But, that's how we're going to... Well, you can definitely get on the show if you'd like to be on the show. But we're going to, continue on. So I guess we should just get right into news. Like, there's so much news to go over this week. Like, the Gears of War cinematic director leaves Epic Games to go to Black Tusk to work on Gears of War.
Surprising nobody.
No,
Good.
Good news. It's
It's-
good news.
it's nice to see that the guys that make Gears of War are going to continue to make Gears of War.
Wow, look at that picture.
Hey, look, the man is happy, all right?
He really is happy.
He's a stoked individual.
He loves him some gear.
Greg Mitchell is, a hero because I love the cinematics to Gears of War, so it's gonna be great. It's
It's
be
gonna be
great.
big.
Haven't they got quite a few ex-Epic guys? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Rod Ferguson, right, the main producer of the series, is
Well,
like the studio head, right?
Yeah, I mean, sort of other people. He's got I remember him talking about one of the QA guys, but I'm pretty sure there's quite a few of them over there now.
Pretty much the only guy that's really important that isn't there is Quinn De La Hoya, who is at 343 making Halo. So, they're keeping him in the ecosystem more or less. And it makes sense that he did this, as a lot of what Epic are doing right now isn't really about cinematics. It's a lot more about just action, as free-to-play games tend to be, unless you're making a bunch of cinematics. So, going back and keep working on what you're working on, that's really cool. I guess my only real issue with this is why at this time, not earlier? It seems kind of weird that it's taken this long, because if the game's rumored to be released this year, that's pretty late. So
I mean, Gears of War.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it would have been released this year anyway, but this late in the development cycle, I mean, I guess if they're just going into early alpha, that makes sense, but otherwise, who knows?
I would put a lot of money on it being next year, and this year's going to be some sort of anniversary or collection thing. The way they did Halo makes a lot of sense. Seems way
Could
too
be
early.
just Gear 3 remade, something like that.
Yeah, well, what they should do is they should do all 4 of them, but I don't know if after Master Chief Collection they would do it quite like that.
How do you think they
probably
could
for the
go
best.
about it? What do you think? They're definitely going to have a Gears announcement. And
no,
it's going to be for this year, but what could it be? I think it just could be Gears 3, maybe? Like redone?
Possibly. But then
1080p. It's not hitting 60 frames per second.
it's the Xbox 360's 10-year anniversary, so maybe they'll anniversary Gears 1 and then they'll sort of stagger the rest of them.
That's good too. I'll deal with that.
I
Possibly.
don't know.
It's what I wanted them to do with Halo. They didn't do it, but like I said, that would make sense. If they just did 1, 2, and 3, because some people don't really some people kind of harsh on Judgment. I think it was okay, story wise at least, but other stuff was kind of about it. But who knows?
Yeah.
The only thing about Gears this year is that it isn't a Gears anniversary; it's an Xbox anniversary. So it's a bit.
What about doing the beta thing, like doing pre-beta? Like,
I would love to do that. I mean, it worked wonders for Gears 3, right? That beta was awesome.
They might pull the beta thing like they did with Halo 5 and the Master Chief Collection. So,
or do you think they could just have something new? Because the way it sounded, they said they were, when that whole thing came down, when that developer said that it wasn't coming, they sounded like they were talking about something's coming though, and
there was some kind of project. We just don't know what.
Yeah,
find out soon.
Yeah,
Gears of War strategy game.
I just saw out there. I am showing the teaser image of Gears of War, the next game.
It looks so real. Look at that depth of field.
When I said sort of an anniversary thing, I meant more in terms of what they might do to it rather than it actually being the anniversary. Although they did try to release Fable Anniversary at the 9-year anniversary, but they failed because it had to be delayed. But yeah, I don't know. They'll definitely have something this year though.
Do you think that'll be a 360 legacy title like Gears 1? What do you think they could do? You think they could do the whole anniversary treatment? Is there enough development time for that, you think? Or when you think it started, this whole thing, do you think there's enough development time for that?
Well, considering that the Unreal Engine 3 works on Xbox One, in theory, they could literally just port the game over and then make new graphics and go with that. In theory, but it wouldn't work out like that. They wouldn't have to do as much work as they did for a Halo Anniversary, where they remake the entire game, more or less.
Would it be harder for the original Gears, though? Because it's not on the same engine as the other 2 and 3, or probably
they're all Unreal 3.
Yeah, they're all different versions. But the problem Halo had was that it was across 4 different platforms, 8 different engines, whereas Halo is, even if you use the PC version of Gears 1, it's still very similar architecture, same version of the engine. It'd be a very different project. And when they bought Gears of War, they were very specific to say that they bought all of the previous games as well, and they would have had plenty of time to do whatever it is that they're going to do. By the time, I assume it won't ship till the holiday. So
you think it'll be a polished product, like because the thing about the Halo Master Chief was it was a good product, but it wasn't polished, and that's what I don't want to see that happen again. But I think they will have something that's good, but it's not going to be fully next gen. I don't think. If
they keep all the work in house, it'd be a lot more polished. Absolutely. It's just keeping because of how much communication, it can fall apart. It's rough.
I think that the problem is I don't think that they'll do it in house because I think they're focused too much on original content. But I think the problem is not that it was outsourced; it was that it was outsourced to 6 or 7 different studios. Whereas if they just picked one and then had a line between, Black Tusk doing Gears and Microsoft, and then another studio, then I think it would be a much better project, much easier to manage. Pick someone with expertise in Unreal, multiplayer experience.
Well, it's going to have multiplayer, so
have
that. I think it'd just be one game, to be honest, and I think it's going to either be 1 or 3.
3 would be good. 3 would be good because people still play that competitively a lot,
right. And it looks
the best
good,
multiplayer.
Yeah. Now that you say that, 3 would make a lot of sense. I mean, they could just remaster the multiplayer, and I think people would be happy. Honestly,
dedicated servers, that'd be the first time, right? Is it dedicated servers on? I
think 3 had it.
I don't know.
That was still peer to peer.
3. I thought 3 was dedicated servers, and 1 and 2 were peer to peer.
No.
I think that might have been the case, but regardless, it's going to be interesting.
I mean, what they could do is just do the campaigns for all of them except for 3, and do the multiplayer. I mean, personally, I really want to play Horde on Xbox One, Gears 3 Horde. I would like it if they did all of them, but I don't know. Perhaps they'll make some sort of compromise to make sure that it doesn't end up like Halo.
I wonder if they could get away with doing the single player campaigns for all the games and then just doing one multiplayer.
That's why I said Gears 3.
Yeah, I would do Gears 3 multiplayer and then have all 3. That's a great idea. But then now again, you run into, when was this idea, talked about and the ball started rolling? I don't know. Yeah. How long?
Well, I assume it started around the same time as they purchased the franchise. Yeah. So what was that about? A little over a year ago?
But I would.
It was 2014.
Then they have totally. Then they have.
This was 2014, dude.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's all right.
All right.
But I mean, the thing is, sorry, Dustin.
Well, no. If you got something more to add,
he's going to wrap it up.
I was going to push forward a little bit, but.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
This is Gears, though. I mean, Steve loves Gears.
No. Gears is great. Just to throw Mike, I guess I haven't really said anything. Horde mode, you gotta have it. Just rip that off of Gears of War 3 because it's the best Horde mode. The multiplayer, I think you kind of lean more towards what is it? Why am I blanking on the name of the last one? Judgment. It was really good. The controls felt very tight. But I just want Judgment's multiplayer with Horde mode. And they could probably make everybody happy. Honestly.
I think they gotta avoid Judgment just because of the stigma attached to it.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if it is better, it's just people attach Judgment to failure. So.
Yeah.
It's more people just didn't like it as much as 3 because 3 was just such a goddamn masterpiece.
But let's move on, people. Let's move on. After 10 million downloads on Xbox 360, Happy Wars hits Xbox One this week. That's right. It comes out on the 24th, so tomorrow you can play Happy Wars.
Tomorrow is the recording of this podcast.
What? Well, no, I'm going to
Heads
have the podcast as up as soon as possible. So,
Recording of this podcast, not release.
Is this even a good game?
Happy Wars is an excellent game.
People love Happy
10 million
Wars, man.
10
Justin
million
and I are
downloads.
planning
The hell?
on
We're gonna live stream
that
it.
on Monday.
Yeah.
Oh.
I never played it.
I
Neither
played
have
it
we.
for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, April 24th, it's coming out. And we'll, if you hear the show, you know, on Thursday, which if I can get it all put together in time, then, you know, it'll come out tomorrow. If you hear the show tomorrow, well, that shit's out. If you're hearing it on Friday, so.
Might be out now. Don't they do those weird
Yeah.
GMT times? I think it might be out like 30 minutes ago for all we know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll find out.
Happy
If you're in
Wars.
Australia, check your downloads.
I'm checking now.
Halo the Master Chief Collection update cracks down on quitters. So there was a big update on Halo, the Master Chief Collection. They've essentially added all the ranking in now. I noticed that I had a rank in my multiplayer games, and it looks like they're going to actually start hitting people pretty hard for just like, oh, I'm just going to quit out of the match halfway because who cares? But we ended up playing, what was it, the night before last?
That's about 2 nights ago, yeah.
And we were having
When
an
the
awesome
patch
time.
came out.
Yeah. The other note was ODST comes out next month.
It's good.
As well as Relic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Relic's big too.
Where was it? Ranking.
But you have to play Halo 2 to play Relic, so
Yeah.
not for me.
Seems like they finally got that game like now squared away.
For the most part, there's still some bugs here and there for people, but we had a really good experience a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
We did all big team battle matches. We had 4 people in the party. There were no
Halo
dropouts.
3 runs so fucking smooth.
It does. They improved that a lot. It feels nice and tight now. Yeah, it's good.
I think they did it so they could get Griffball good and going because people have been complaining about not being able to play Griffball for a while. You know, I mean, it for some people it's really important. It still has a competitive scene, a really active, although small, but dedicated competitive scene. So,
But in ranked playlist, quitting a match is now treated the same as a loss. Quitting is defined as exiting the game in any fashion. If you quit a match, your ranking will be impacted. This may result in dropping a level. All quits and betrayals are being tracked automatically, and the action is being taken against offending players who commit these offenses more than what is considered normal behavior.
Is this a rank across all games?
No, each game has its own rank,
Okay. Okay.
which I think that's the right way to do it, because you could be really good at 2, but really suck at
But
3, and you wouldn't want that.
Does each playlist have a ranking too? Because there's playlists that have multiple games in them. So how do they do
I'd
matchmaking
imagine there's a
for
player
that?
ranking, and there's like a behind-the-scenes player ranking, and then there's
Yeah.
an individual game ranking, so
Yeah.
people can see those differences.
Right. That way they can match people correctly, even if it's across multiple games, which it is often. So
Bingo.
that'd be awesome then. I hope that works out. But we had good games the other night. They for the most part, they seem evenly matched. So
Yeah, made
Good about
improvements to Halo 3's controllers' dead zones. That's what they did, and it's amazing.
yeah, and Halo 3, right? That's
Yeah.
where it was really noticeable.
Resolved issues that were causing Halo 3 multiplayer stats to not track correctly. Resolved lighting issues, shading issues. This was actually a fairly big patch. Made improvements to the party system for the whole thing.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I need to come back and play this again because that Halo 5 beta ruined me. Like, it was just so good
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
it was
anytime I
really
play
good.
this, anytime I play the Master Chief Collection, it's like, yeah, whatever.
I think the closest
Seems-
thing you can get to it is Halo 3. Halo 3 feels really fucking good right now on the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, it does seem like the community's starting to come back.
Yeah.
So that's a good
Probably
thing.
because they bundled it with every Xbox, and it actually
Exactly.
works now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, it's one of those unfortunate things. I mean, we have discussed just to death all the issues with this, and I've proposed my own, like, in hindsight they could have done this and it might have worked out, but you know, it's just awesome to see that 343, regardless of the opinion that people hold of the company are going, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna make it better, and they're doing it every patch to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder how much longer they'll work on it. Like after ODST, does that mean they kind of give up on patches and they just do small things
absolutely
here and
not.
there?
It
Or
depends on if they. It depends on what they decide to do internally. Like, let's say if they decide that Halo Reach needs to be in it, I think you could see this continue to get patched as a kind of a store almost of oh, you can buy every Halo game inside Master Chief Collection and just keep buying them. But
I think that they may end up giving people Reach for free as well before a certain date.
you're sticking with that one.
I'm sticking with it.
Because, I mean, I'm with you, dude. I love Reach. I want to play that game again.
Reach
At
is good.
60. Oh, it's so good. So good. It might be my favorite Halo game, just overall so far. So, as much as
I
I want to
might
see.
be.
I think I want to see the multiplayer when it has vehicles. The beta didn't have any vehicles, correct?
Yep.
Yeah,
somebody's
it was-
beating on their mic.
It was all infantry maps.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a large scale map with that, I think it's going to be really impressive. I think that Halo 5 is going to be a huge game for Microsoft.
Obviously. I mean, it is the reason the console exists. Without a shadow of doubt. I mean, if Halo did not exist on Xbox, I don't think we'd be sitting here now talking about it.
Well,
Not
it
to this
needs
degree.
it needs something like that, and I think
Might be
they're
a
going to
Wii
get
U
it.
podcast.
Yeah,
Needs
it'd be just all Wii U all the time.
We need
Yeah.
Oswald.
Oh my word.
We'll be talking
We'd be
Mario
hurting,
Kart
though.
DLC for 2 months.
We'd be hurting. Those damn ads support, We got to help Nintendo by supporting them with their own ads. All right.
Morons.
Oh man.
All right, let's move on to some news that I give 2 fucks about. That's right. First details of Destiny's House of Wolves, new Reef
Goodness.
social space, Queens Bay. All right,
That's a big
Fern,
update.
Michael.
More Michael. He's
I'm
more
gonna-
excited about this, but I want to go
Let's
back
give
to
this.
it.
I'm gonna
Let's
go
give
to
this one
sleep
like a
now.
1 to 2 minute time limit.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Come on.
I'll be back. I figure this is gonna be a good 10 minutes at least.
Oh man.
I'll make it as succinct as possible. So on Twitch, Bungie showed off the new social space, which was the Reef, which existed in pre-release footage, and they scrapped it, they rebuilt it, as you do usually, and they decided to create and expand on endgame content in a lot of different directions, but they didn't add a raid, which had people kind of going, why? And then they're like, but we're adding all this other stuff, and now that people have seen it, they're like, oh, I'm okay with this. They added the ability to upgrade existing gear to the highest light level. So if you do a raid at the lowest level, you get that gear. Now it can become a highest level gear. PvP or whatever could become a highest level gear if it's exotic or legendary, I guess. They added a horde mode style thing, which they're going to be showing off next week after next, something like that.
Yeah.
And
New social space.
yeah, the new social
Reach.
space is the big deal. Which means new ghosts to go find, and apparently they took their time getting this out. It's been 5 months since the big update of The Dark Below, right? And they're going, this is a new big update. So I said after the last stream, okay, I want to get back into it, and I probably will soon, probably next week on the next week's reset. That came out kind of weird. But, it still has the stigma of being Destiny. So people are going to hate on it. People are hating on it in the chat. Fine. People can have their opinions all they want. It still is a huge game that gets played a lot. It's still within the top 20 of Twitch.
Can I
That's
call
a
it
big
a
deal.
piece of shit game?
Go ahead.
You're
Okay.
more than welcome to.
Thank you.
I think this will hold people over until comment, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my guess.
Like I said, I didn't want to really discuss it. I was just gonna, bow my head, and let y'all have your
Yeah.
have
And
your
that release
moment.
schedule, it's supposed to be Comet probably in September, I guess, and then do another 2 expansions, just like The last two that came out, right? And I'm assuming it's going to be with these same characters, and then Destiny 2 would probably start a brand new character.
Who knows? Who knows?
I just noticed an error, but
An
I'll
error?
fix that later.
I am error.
I just saw Daniel's Twitch name become his Xbox Live name at the same time. I had to fix that.
I noticed that.
But yeah, and you're just worried about yourself. We know.
Hey,
pre-show joke. Pre-show joke.
I told you. I said I noticed that the names were the same on his.
Okay.
But-
First, all right. So we got through Destiny.
Yeah, you made it.
We did it. I think I've made it through the coma.
Phil's favorite game, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays it a lot, and I personally find that very concerning.
That is concerning.
Yeah, he's over
Destiny's the
200
future-
hours in Destiny. Yeah.
Destiny's the future of Xbox. That's the future of the platform. It's the way they're headed.
It's certainly support a game like Destiny better than the PlayStation 4 ever could. So
Let's talk about the Elder Scrolls Online. The beta hits the Xbox One and the PS4 on April 23rd.
Yeah, it's out right now.
That's right.
People are playing it right now.
Wait a minute. Oh, the beta. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Yeah.
the beta is out right now. People signed up for this a long time ago, and some are getting it, some aren't. So, from what I've heard, it runs really well. Apparently, it is 1080p. It's running at about 30 frames per second, and at fairly high settings. So, looks like a good version of the game. They did adjust the UI somewhat for the controller, and the control scheme looks good. Only thing is, the game's not going to have add-ons like the PC version does. So, and I'm pretty familiar with the PC version. So, if I were playing the console version, I think I might get a little annoyed because that means you don't have there's no mini map in the game, which is kind of they go with like a compass on the top like they do in the.
I like that, actually. I
Yeah.
don't
the
know.
Elder Scrolls games.
I'll
Yeah,
try
and-
it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
wait
worth a
second.
try.
What does it mean Vern is clearly the Vince of this entourage? Vince McMahon?
What? Did I miss something in Twitch chat?
Yes.
It might be Vince of Entourage. I don't know.
I'm missing
haven't
stuff in
watched that
Twitch chat,
show.
I think. I don't see
Pull it up, bro.
I'm going to reload it or something.
Keep that shit up.
Who is
But
Vern?
anyway,
Who is
That's
Vern?
right. Who is Vern?
there's other
the
add-ons
gold
too
throat.
that I like on there. Like, there's no way you're going to get a damage meter, so you won't be able to test out, the best builds and the best
DPS.
rotations, stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer. And then, I mean, that's the biggest one probably.
So, like with this on consoles, like, will it be like separate service for console people, or will they mix it
It
with
is,
PC players?
and it's separate servers for regions too, I think.
Oh.
Well,
All
interesting.
right, just throw it out there, people.
1996.
Please do not
Yeah.
message in Skype. I can't read them without messing up the video.
We'll be
Oh,
good.
Well, let's get this straight though.
And the audio comes over OBS
I heard-
too.
I heard 1080p and 30 frames per second for Xbox One.
Yes.
What's the competition other than PC? What are they?
I would
running?
assume it's the same. It's
Uh-oh.
the same. But
Yeah.
How
because it's
is
not
that
going to hit
possible?
60. Well, it's not going to hit 60 frames per second, but it's an MMO, and those are CPU intensive. So, even if the frame rate is higher on the PS4, more than likely they'll just lock it at 30.
I hear
So-
at E3 Microsoft's announcing blast processing, and that's why they got it up that high.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
No, Elder Scrolls' first DX12 game. That's
Oh, yeah, it uses blast
why.
processing.
yeah, that's it.
That's why everybody heard that Sega and Microsoft were working together about the Joe Montana thing. It really wasn't all that. It was about getting blast processing for the Xbox One.
No, it's because there's a Sega Saturn inside the Xbox One. That's
Yeah.
why it's so big for the blast processing.
That's how.
All right, we got
like to see
users. Yeah, we got users in here saying that this is an 80 gig download. What's going
It's-
on?
I don't think
50.
it's 80. It's 65, right?
It's 50 on a Blu-ray, 15 gigabyte patch.
Right.
It's gonna
And-
blow your mind when you play it.
Damn.
Well, I mean, welcome to the world of modern development and an MMO.
That's the size
mean,
on
for the
PC,
PC.
too.
Wait, the
You gotta
PC is
put-
that large?
It's big,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's
Wow.
close to that. This is a big game too. I don't think people realize how
Yes.
big this game is.
Absolutely.
It has 3 separate factions, each with their own storylines, and you get to do all 3 factions once you finish the first one. Because I mean, once you finish one
Okay.
and then do the last section of the game, essentially you finish the main storyline. But they kind of do some stupid storyline that allows you to play the other 2 factions as well, which is cool though, because I mean, there's about what is it, like 250 hours of single player gaming in this game? Easily,
Well,
I'd
my
say.
question is the Blu-ray disc that this is going to come on? Are they just going to have 2 discs in the box?
Nope.
No,
Disc
no,
and
they're
patch.
forcing a 15 gigabyte patch.
All right.
Wow.
Blu-rays are not cheap.
Uh,
I mean, they're not there are more expensive options, but it's you you
Because
can only do so
it's
much.
bigger than a Blu-ray. It's a
Yes.
huge
Yeah.
file.
Well, it's the
Massive.
same. Master Chief Collection had a 20 gig download, but 343 also said that the reason why there wasn't 2 Blu-rays is because the console doesn't currently support it yet.
and the
Yeah,
PS4
because
I
is
see.
doing the same thing. So I'm assuming both consoles are having issues with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully this game came a long way because I remember beta testing this on PC and it was completely trash.
It's the
When I
same beta.
tested-
No, I'm just kidding.
It's not. It's no. I mean, this game's come a long way. You got to remember they've added the
Yeah.
justice system, which is a huge difference.
You said the
So-
injustice system?
But yeah, now like you can
Superheroes.
get caught for stealing and all that stuff, and you get a bounty on your head, and they've fixed a lot of stuff in this game. The game is much more balanced than it was at launch. Obviously, they've added a lot of content. The veteran level grind at the end of the game isn't as grindy. There's more dungeons, more armor sets. I mean, there's just a lot to do in this game. So if you're looking for an RPG to spend a lot of time in and you want it to be an online game, it's worth it. I'd say it's worth the $60, especially if it's running well, like people are saying. Obviously, you want to play the beta and see what you think, but if it's anything like the PC version is right now, I think it's worth it.
So here's the big question. How does this actually compare to like WoW? Like is this anywhere
very
near
different.
WoW or
Well, it's
Okay.
very different. It's not the same kind of thing. I don't know. You don't have to worry as much about cooldowns because you don't have like 20 abilities or whatever. You're usually stuck with like I think it's 6 on one bar and 6 on another, so 12 max with weapon swapping. So it's not the same complexity as far as knowing your rotations and your roles in the groups. So it's a little easier to play if you're not familiar with MMOs. But the combat's also more active, relies a little more on Twitch,
Okay.
skill.
Yeah, I do
than,
remember that 'cause I
say
remember
something like World of Warcraft would. So there's a balance. It just depends on what kind of game you like. I mean, if you like something more like Guild Wars or The Secret World, I'd say Elder Scrolls is more your style.
okay, yeah.
But if you like World of Warcraft, I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend this
But-
game. But it's
but I
more
mean, like,
console friendly, so it works.
Yeah, but I mean like towards the end, like when you get to the end game and you start raiding.
There's no
you get-
rating. There's no rating.
Oh.
What they have is something called trials, which I believe are 12-man groups.
Okay.
So it's end game content with large groups of players, but it's more about how fast you complete the dungeons than it is actually completing multiple raid bosses. So it's a different type of end game. It's more PvP focused and more like time trial focused. So
They seem to be really focusing on PvP with this game too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of rare for MMOs to do well. I haven't heard much one way or the other if it is quality or not, but they certainly advertise that there's a war going on in this game.
Yeah. Sounds like I'll give it a shot.
I'd say it's worth a go. I'd give it a shot.
Who's holding the marketing for it?
No one now.
ZeniMax.
Yeah, it was originally Sony because there was going to be that exclusive beta, or early beta access or something like that, and after it got delayed, that just kind of went quiet. So I don't think anyone has the marketing for it, or at least no outside
Right.
like first party publisher.
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't really matter because the game has really lost public eye in a lot of ways, and people recognize the name Skyrim. They don't necessarily recognize the name Elder Scrolls. So it just, and if it is going to sell, it's going to sell more on the place it's already been released on, which would be PC, because people associate Skyrim with PCs. So at this point, they're going to market online a little bit, and then they're just going to let sales come in from people who tell their friends, "Oh, plays with me. Destiny's boring. Come play this."
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the older groups, like the hardcore guys that remember Elder Scrolls, like Morrowind and stuff like that, they'll know this right away. But like the casual people,
Stop
they're
making
not
me
gonna-
feel old because I don't consider those people the older group.
Yeah,
It's
but
okay, dude.
how long
You
ago
can be a
was
fart
Morrowind?
with me.
Morrowind was 2003, 2004.
2000.
Right, the younger people.
I'm sorry. I just like I don't consider those like they've been playing games a long time. No, you haven't. Nope. If you started out in 3D games, you're not that old of a gamer.
No,
Oh.
I'm not that old of a gamer. I'm sorry. And I was playing 2D shit.
I'm the oldest of this group.
Yeah. But let's move on. Let's move on to better subjects, bigger downloads. I think that's where we need to
What?
head. We need to head to Xbox One celebrates the playoffs with free NBA 2K15 this weekend. So if you're willing to download like a 60 gigabyte game,
Goodness.
or no, I'm sorry, it's 46 gigabytes. So you're willing to download 46 gigs, you can play NBA 2K15 this weekend. Totally free. It's awesome. I'm going to download it just because I haven't played it yet. And I want to see how it compares to NBA Live. I just wish it would play out till Monday, but it's not. Well, no, 3 a.m. Eastern on Monday, so there's no way we're going to do it on the
It's a smart time
Monday.
to do this.
Yeah.
They'll probably pick up a few sales from it. I'm curious
Absolutely.
as well, but I probably won't download it just because I don't know.
It's a
I've
very
gotten my
large
fill.
file.
I mean, I have a bunch of interest in sports games, so I really don't care. But I mean, for the people that have wanted to try it out, or at least want to, have their giggles with the face camera thing, it's good for them.
That's right. Maybe I will download it for that. That was a mess.
Was that fixed? Is that fixed yet? Or no?
I don't. I really don't know. That was funny, man.
It blew
That
up
was
when it happened, and
Yeah.
nobody just really cared about it since.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like most things on the internet, right? It's really big for a while, and then it's like, we'll move on.
Besides us.
No, we're just going to
We're
go back
growing.
to Destiny.
No.
All right. Let's talk about Halo 3 ODST. Yeah, we already talked about this. Comes out next month.
Yeah. I cannot wait to play ODST. Oh gosh, the lighting,
it's gonna be
the lighting is what's gonna make people go, "Oh wow, this really was a good looking game."
All right,
Yeah,
now
'cause
this is two
trust
articles
me.
coming up, and I'm gonna let Steve kind of. This was his idea to talk about this, but Alan Wake sequel was shown. Well, kind of
Concept video.
a concept video introducing
Yeah.
the Alan Wake 2 you will never play, is what Polygon posted. And they got a prototype video, which I'm not gonna play all that, but Steve,
I
tell me about it.
I have, so basically Polygon just published an article. Brian Crescent went to Remedy about Alan Wake 2. This was the Alan Wake 2 that you never get to play, and they had like a 13 or 14 minute long video sort of from the they'd obviously done like a concept thing to show Microsoft or other publishers, and it looks looks great. I haven't watched all of the video because it made me want to cry, but there was sort of it looked much better than Alan Wake. Sort of what they were sort of intending to do. There seemed to be sort of a lot more interaction with the environment. The AI seemed improved. Combat seemed a bit more fluid with a bit of sort of less repetition. I mean, you're never going to work out what a long game's going to be like compared to the video, but it seemed like there was a big improvement. And it was sort of Sam Lake sort of talking to Polygon sort of about the game, what their plans were. The fact that they pitched it to Microsoft and to multiple other publishers. and sort of no one bit, and then they sort of went back to Microsoft for Quantum Break, and then there was sort of some sort of a follow-up article that sort of talked about the fact that they may go multi-platform with it. Basically, the entire article sounded to me like it was some sort of power move. They talked about being in talks with Microsoft for a remaster of Alan Wake, and obviously there was that leak recently of Alan Wake Remastered Edition from a survey. They talked about talking to other partners, and there was a quote from Phil Spencer in it as well. He was asked about these articles, and he talked about how I think the gist of it was that they didn't do a sequel, and then it ended up selling much better than they thought that it would, because it's the franchise is at 4.5 million units,
Right.
3.2 million of which are for the base game. I think they suggested in the Polygon article. So Phil Spencer was talking about, seemed as if he was saying, well, perhaps we should have done a sequel. But yeah, I mean, check out the article on Polygon somewhere, because it's really interesting. But I think that it was a power move to
Feels
get
like
Microsoft to make up their decision. Do you want this? Do you not? Because Remedy own Alan Wake, whereas Microsoft own Quantum Break. So and
I think if they lose that, it would be that'd be bad. I think.
I mean, as I said, Remedy talks about talking to other partners, but Remedy have always said that Microsoft are our publishing partner. Remedy have said that it was financially successful, and all these other things. And it's like if you look at something like Rise, where Microsoft cancelled it because they wanted to own the IP, and Crytek said no.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I think
it's going to happen again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Remedy will just say
That
okay,
would
we're
hurt.
just going
That would
develop it
hurt
somewhere else.
Microsoft. That would definitely be a blow. At least I would feel like that's the way the developer sounded, or the guy that was. I read that article. He sounded like, it sounded like he was going multi-plat, but I don't know if he was just kind of being blown off steam or whatever, because the fact of the matter is Alan Wake 2 is going to be a huge game, and that's definitely something they want to have in their for their IPs, But if they lose it,
Yeah,
it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I think Phil
the-
pulled him aside and told him to shut the fuck up. Because, come on, Phil's not gonna let that slide. He's not gonna let that go away.
Well, I think
We'll see.
the problem for Remedy is that it took them a long time to make Alan Wake, and then Quantum Break has taken them a long time also. I mean, as it is, it's been delayed to early 2016 for Quantum Break, so they're obviously now looking at what's next. And Remedy are 60% bigger. They said they were 85 people during Alan Wake. They're now 135. And it definitely seemed to me like they want to do a couple of projects, Quantum Break
That's
2,
right,
Alan
yeah.
Wake 2, if Microsoft want Quantum Break 2. And, so it seems to me like the ball is very much in Microsoft's court. And, it'll be interesting
They
see
have
what
to. They should definitely secure that, because, like I said, I think Alan Wake 2 is going to be even a bigger game than Alan Wake. I
You know
remember
why
that
they-
game. I remember, just not to interrupt, but I remember that game. Everyone was saying that game failed. Because I remember it was in the forums and they said it failed, and it was like it was a joke. That game it had legs, and like I said, a sequel will. I think with next gen, it will be excellent. It will be an excellent game.
Well, no, I
This
agree. I
was-
think they need to get it out there before it turns into the next Shenmue. Like they need
would be a-
need to work on it and get it there.
I don't, but I think more than anything, they need to do this for the PC fan base.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
That's been one of the issues lately, is them never coming through for the PC, And this is the game that would help with that, because there's a big Remedy fan base that is PC only, honestly. So, yeah, they need to secure it for that as well.
My problem, I mean, as I said, Microsoft have got this big thing about owning IPs, but Remedy have worked exclusively with Microsoft since 2005. I mean, okay, they only released 2 games, but they've got all this thing about owning the IP and stuff. But I don't really see what difference it makes, because I don't think Remedy will go multi-platform if Microsoft want to keep them around. And if there's anything that I would let it keep for, it's for a long-term partner that seems like it's been a good relationship, and have a big new IP coming from Microsoft. I mean, unless there's sort of some wrangling over exactly, they talked about possibly an episodic game or whether they want a big AAA game, that sort of thing. But
The only reason why I think it's not to interrupt, but the only reason why I think it's at risk is because of the base. I think that Remedy might be seeing that PS4 base and saying, you know what, we could go out on both of these, and we'll make a lot of money because that Sony fans would buy that game, even though they said they hated it, but they will buy that. They will buy that game, and I'm
sorry. I mean, I think that could be what Remedy uses the bargaining tool, because the thing is that I don't know. I mean, it must surely be easier for a developer like Remedy if they were working for one publisher on sort of one platform, one or two platforms. I mean, I don't know how well they would work, if they were trying to develop something multi-platform.
They haven't done it before.
Well, they haven't done it since Max Payne,
right? And
But
Max Payne was what? Well, no, it was on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 2, right?
But
I guess they're not that big of a studio, right?
No, 135 is really small. That is a very small studio for the qualities of games that they present. That is
teeny.
really, really small.
Now let's compare it.
Studio.
Let's compare it to Assassin's Creed. How many people work on that game?
1,000.
135,000. But I mean, the thing is that the question, looking at the studio size, obviously they are quite a small studio, but I mean, if Microsoft had gone ahead with that Alan Wake 2, I don't think it would have taken them, sort of until 2016 to get it. I think it, would have been a much quicker production, and they would have got it on Xbox 360 in, 3 years or so. Because I think a lot of it's to do with the tech, but the problem is that they then had to go and make new tech to make it, look good on Xbox One. Mm-hmm. So I think, if they were to continue to expand and work on a couple of projects, I think it'd be great. But I think it would be utter madness if Microsoft didn't publish it and sign them up.
Yeah, I agree. I really hope they keep it because they're like one of my all-time favorites, and would stink.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's move along to Phil Harrison. Well, there's two things about Phil Harrison. He's officially left Microsoft, and he's moved on to starting his own startup using Microsoft's secret Microsoft technology that nobody knows about, that we have no idea what it is.
Secret.
But
Wow.
it sounds like he's not making a game studio. Honestly, it sounds like he's doing HoloLens work. To me, that's what all the hints are, because he's like, we're not like a game studio, but if we were living next to each other, I'd be the guy next to your neighbor. It would. So it doesn't sound like he's making games, but HoloLens stuff that's going to be gaming related.
That or server side stuff.
Yeah,
That'd be
One of the
very be very possible. Very, very possible.
but if he's using secret technology that Microsoft has not shared with anybody, more likely it's going to be whatever he's doing is going to be exclusive to Windows PC and Xbox. I can't imagine Microsoft would let him have a keys to a certain technology and let him go anywhere he wanted with it. But it's a new Microsoft. Who knows? They might just be like, hey, port that to iOS. Enjoy that.
So why does this guy get so much heat? A lot of people don't like him.
Well, he left Sony because he wasn't moving up. And then he left Microsoft because he wasn't moving up.
Oh,
People
fair
just
enough.
joke around and call him a double agent because
Yeah.
he worked for Sony, and then once he started at Microsoft, not long after, things went south. That's the running joke. I think people are just making fun of that, honestly.
At
Because he
one
hasn't
time,
done anything really awful.
Yeah.
He hasn't said that much bad stuff either compared to the other executives.
yeah.
He was kind of just another executive. There was nothing about, if you ask me, Aaron Greenberg, it's yeah, that dude's fucking awesome. I know him on Twitter. He's blah, blah, blah. And I have a list of things I can tell you about him. Phil Harrison with Xbox? I don't know. He's never really
Yeah.
talked. He's just Phil Harrison.
He didn't even get the thing right with Connect, to how it wouldn't, I think Mike Futter of I don't know who he works for. I had a big fight with him though. He made an art. He works for a big publication, but Phil Harrison's something when the Connect was taken out. He didn't even know the answers to like general questions, and he went on and he went on, and then like 2 weeks later, like the same thing that he said you couldn't do, what they were doing, and Mike Futter went Futterish or whatever his name is, went completely nuts. And I remember arguing with him about that. But yeah, he seemed really out of touch. Like, you know, I that's my take on him. Like, I tweeted him a lot, but it was always just like, you know, like he would respond whenever. He was just like like he would just say thank you. He was always classy, but I didn't get any kind of passion there. At his biggest, he was with Sony, and I remember he was like a real big shot, like 2007.
He did some good stuff with Sony, actually.
Yeah, and then he went downhill.
Yeah.
Well, he did. I suppose his sort of biggest accomplishments at the time were PlayStation Home and Little Big Planet, which was quite big at GDC.
Yeah.
But
Let's all take
actually,
a moment to remember PlayStation Home.
Moment's done.
What? Which thing? What?
I mean, Phil
Don't remember
Harrison's,
it.
I think one of
Wait,
one
I
of
remember,
his big
just
things
throw it
was-
out there, I remember walking in and waiting 30 minutes for each load screen because it would be like, hey, you want to get in this level? Like this area over here, just like cross the block? That's a 10 gig download, so just wait a minute and we'll boot you up.
Remember
once
when
you're
they
ready.
advertised that Warhawk war table?
Yes.
But everyone was going to use it to make strategies for Warhawk?
Yep.
No one was ever in that damn room. No one even tried it, I don't think.
Or when you just wanted to play bowling in PlayStation Home with a friend, but all the lanes were already packed up. You couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, you were stuck playing some shitty arcade game on the side.
Or you had to pay to watch the movie trailer.
Yes, yeah.
That was smart.
PlayStation Home. I hope that Microsoft's watching that and they make their own version.
Yeah.
I think it's ingenious.
Please don't. Please
like services.
never do that.
They
Ever.
can sell a lot of hats. It's what made the PS4 so successful is the impact PlayStation Home had on PS3. I'm sorry, Steve, when I went on a tangent about a service that everybody loves and enjoys that is now gone.
All I was going to say was that Phil Harrison's, I think one of his big things was like Live London, and they've been around for years and they've not released anything as yet. And
Oh,
I mean, they were supposed to be on sort of touch devices and PC projects, and then they added consoles to their Twitter bio. But you know, we saw that Eden Falls had some leaked Windows Phone 8 achievements, but they haven't released anything. And then they got merged with Soho Productions, who did Upload Studio, and then there were loads of redundancies and stuff. So I think that probably helped his cause if he wanted to move up. But yeah.
He just seemed out of touch to me. Like, you know, I don't know. They put Kudo in his position pretty much, I think.
Yeah.
And, Kudo he's not really. He's a behind the scenes type guy. You know, I don't know what he's about.
Yeah. I actually saw Phil Harrison just before the Xbox One launch. I went to Eurogamer Expo and I went to the Xbox talk. Phil Harrison is a very tall and very bald man. And
Yes, he is.
and I mean that in a polite way. Like it was impressive at you know,
Like he must have had some like
tall
special
and
head
bald he
wax.
yeah.
He was bald as a son bitch. No.
He's like 9 foot tall.
He was born bald.
Possibly. Yeah. But it wouldn't surprise me. Like, and it was, you know, there was sort of like a shine. I was genuinely in awe.
Wow.
So it's like Yul Brynner bald, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't sort of like some sort of straggling sort of bits of hair there. That is just, you know, it was shined and.
Mr. Clean.
Do we really need to move on from a bald head?
Yeah.
I'm just.
Probably.
I don't know a
I
good
think we do.
segue from bald head.
I think we do.
Yep.
Master Chief Collection Halo 5 trailer highlights Spartan Locke gear exclusive to GameSpot or Stop pre-orders. I think I'm not the only one that messes up that.
I do that all the time. It's because we're old.
yeah,
As
I
we
know.
get old, we're going to keep doing more and more things
I
like that.
remember that news site, the GameStop. I remember it.
The
Day
gaming
short, $1 late.
The gaming stop.
The gaming stop. All right, let's talk about Halo 5 Guardians, people. Who's watched this trailer?
I think all of
Who's
us
been in
probably.
the controversy of, is it live action? Is it CGI? Is it gameplay? Is
It
it...
looks like game assets.
It's
you know?
No, they already said it's game assets running
Yeah.
in a CGI format. So
Yeah.
it's... Is it going to have that aliasing? Fuck no. Well, that form of anti-aliasing.
Anti-aliasing.
Yeah.
It's not going to
It's
be that clean looking. No.
nowhere near that clean looking. But
It looked cool though. I mean,
Yeah.
it looked like the same kind of movement and combat that we saw in Halo 5 beta. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Hello out there, all my.
Oh no, I'm playing other people's content on our channel.
I just, when I see this, I wonder what's it going to be like to control Master Chief in this game. Is it going to be
Exactly.
different than
Yeah.
what we're seeing from the new Spartan suit? You know.
Yeah.
Because if you're controller Master Chief and you're doing all these crazy things like the Halo 5 beta and what we saw in this trailer, it's going to be kind of weird. So I'm curious how they're dealing with that. If it's going to be two
In the
different
story?
types of gameplay. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
but hey, like Master Chief at the end of 4, not to spoil
Uh-huh.
it, but he takes off his suit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
So
be
does he get a
shocking
new
if
suit?
he gets a new suit.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he got a new piece
Yeah.
on. He got a new armor
Yeah.
set.
So the
Yeah.
new armor set's going to probably bring him up to a Locke's abilities, and they're going to.
But they'll have to change his design too, right?
No, not too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if they don't upgrade him, it's going to be a serious handicap. Just
No, but the thing
Yeah, I
is,
guess-
right now, if Locke fought Master Chief in his old armor, they're about equal in strength. But once Master Chief gets Locke's armor,
yeah, it's
Master
not-
Chief
It's over.
becomes
It's not gonna
really
change.
OP because
Yeah.
of the what Michael. He's a Spartan 3, right?
Locke is a Spartan 4.
Spartan 4. Master Chief's a Spartan 2, correct?
Yes.
And Spartan 2s are already OP as shit,
Yes.
even compared to Spartan 4s.
Absolutely.
But-
I mean, Spartan 4s are essentially a refined adult version of Spartan 2s. Spartan 4s
But they have
are,
better armor, and that's where they kind of make up for it. Well,
more
2s
more advanced technology wise. Better is a very specific term because the Mjolnir armor is really powerful. What Spartan 4s wear isn't the same class of Mjolnir.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shit that goes into talking about those things.
Were the Spartan 4s giving like those steroids that like the Spartan 2s?
They
or-
were, but not in the same extent as what Master Chief was given.
Because they didn't have their skeletons augmented, right? They
Yeah,
didn't grow with their
exactly.
skeletons and stuff. They don't have the same reinforced bone structure. So
Yeah, because Jason was explaining it to me, because he's with you, Michael. He knows all this fucking story shit to it. That, and I'm going to probably get it wrong, but Master Chief is more genetically heavily modified than what Spartan 4s are.
yes,
But
that
Spartan
is
4s
correct.
use their armor more to make up for that issue.
Yes.
So if you take somebody like Master Chief and put him in more of Spartan 4's armor, you just get somebody that's extremely stupid and kind of not fair. But that's the only way you're going to have him jetpacking around like Locke.
Not necessarily, because they could just take the Mjolnir Mark 6 and just upgrade it with the technology that gives like the jump pack and everything. You know.
And everybody in the chat's like, y'all are fucking nerds.
It's all right, man. Everyone's got their thing they nerd about.
And it's worth noting that this GameStop promotion is just unlocking the customization set early. You can still get it through other means, which is good.
Oh, I thought you were getting an actual armor thing. Like
It is an
Okay.
armor. It's an aesthetic thing. It just I don't think it has like a big like all armor in Halo. It has a real impact. It's just a cosmetic.
Yep.
Have you guys been following Hunt the Truth?
Absolutely. Last episode, how they ended it, that was some Kubrick level shit. It was,
Yeah, it was good. It's definitely good.
great writing, great voice acting. Can't wait to see the next episode.
Some of the best PR since I Love Bees. Without a doubt.
Yes.
That's gonna all roll into Halo 5, which is gonna be fun.
Team Master Chief. That's right.
Chief.
But he basically everything that in the multiplayer that they showed off in the CGI trailer, that was they had the it looked like he had the the thing that catapults you. The I can't think of the word right now. You know, where it keeps you up, like the Titanfall. Then they had the
Jump pack.
yeah, the jump jetpack. Then they had the punch down, which you know, that was another ability, but they didn't show anything new, right? Like
I mean,
another
he crashed through a wall. That was
yeah,
pretty cool.
and he also
and
grabbed onto one of those.
a banshee. In
Yeah.
midair. Yeah. I mean, if air hijacking and you can burst through certain walls, yes, I'm into that.
All right.
Speaking of beautiful bald heads, Locke's got a pretty beautiful bald head, right? Right?
It doesn't look as good though.
It's,
I don't-
it's not as
Just not the same.
I trust the English
No.
guy on this
Yeah.
one.
Steve's like, you had to
Yeah.
be there. You,
You
had
just-
to be
you
there.
had- you
and
had to-
see it in
yeah.
When you
person.
saw your reflection in the back of his head, it's magical. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, E3 Phil Spencer wants to focus on first-party exclusives and Xbox games. Just he really wants to go, hey, we got more studios than anybody the fuck else. Let's show what they're working on. That's what it sounds like.
Well, there's different ways to look at this. You know, do you look at it as an, oh wow, they're doubling down on first party. This is great news, or does this mean, hey guys, we're not having great relationships with third parties now because of sales, and we didn't want you guys anyway. We're going to talk about first party. So
Oh
you
God.
could look at it in two different ways. You know, I'm curious
thing
what we
is-
see.
The thing is, I mean, Bethesda and now Square Enix have both announced press conferences, and I don't know if Square might have done them years ago, but not quite. I'd like to think they will this year. So it seems to me like, yes, perhaps they're not sort of got so many third parties on stage sort of thing, but it also seems to be that perhaps third parties also want to have their own shows that they've got a lot to show, and there's just too much to fit in from both Microsoft's games, third party games. Excuse me. So I think it's I think it's a good sign. There'll obviously be third party stuff there as well, but as it's good that they are building for first party, and I'd be interested to see sort of the new partnerships they've got. He talked about sort of new IP. Anything else sort of surprising that might be coming internally? Perhaps something from Lionhead that's not Fable Legends, Twisted Pixel, Press Play, Black Tusk.
Yeah, I hope when he said one new IP, I hope he wasn't like being like literal with that, like just
He
one.
never
Like,
said
what's the way-
one. He just said
What-
new IP, and he
Yeah, he
uses
did- okay.
IP as a plural version. So
Good. All right.
he
Good.
could be
good.
talking about multiple.
Well, I mean, Twisted Pixel and Press Play are both on new IPs, so that's more than one, and he didn't specify AAA. So I think as Vern said, I think there'll be some new stuff, there'll be some old stuff, as usual.
All right.
I really can't see this as a bad sign, because I'm always the opinion that if you rely on third party to get your system out there, there's some shaky ground in doing that, because you should be doing your job as the publisher that has studios under your arms to make good games. So hey, if this is the case, that's cool. And like you guys said, Bethesda and Square have gone and made their own shows, which is cool, right? That's going back to traditional days of E3s where Konami had a show and Tecmo had a show. Activision probably had a show at one point. They only have they only have 3 games they put out every year that people give a shit about. So
No, but the biggest complaint most people have had with Microsoft's E3 presence has been the fact that they've relied so heavily
Just
on
third
third
party,
party.
yeah.
And as of right now, Phil Spencer's been all about trying to do more of what the community wants, and everybody's been like, they need to focus more on first party. Sounds like they're doing it this year, and I don't think that's we're going to drop third party support. No, they're not doing a Nintendo. I think they're just going to go, hey, let's give the fans what they want, and let's show them what we're doing with our first party studios. They have a ton of them, and I still think they're going to run short on time. I think they're going to, if they stay with their hour and a half,
No, they need
Media.
at least 2 hours. The way
No,
this
no,
is
I
sounding.
agree, but
Yeah.
I think every single one of their E3s always has been an hour and a half long.
And they better
it's-
not try to like, share the time with like HoloLens or VR. I would be so pissed.
You're gonna get that, so just be pissed now.
Oh man.
This
It's
year
gonna
though,
exist, but it's not gonna be that
I
much.
don't think this year. It just, I mean, Phil Spencer did say the HoloLens didn't stop them doing something in VR, so maybe they've also got a VR partner. But I mean, the thing is that every
Microsoft
time we
has
talk,
good relations with Facebook. That's all I'm saying.
but I mean, every
No, I
time we
don't
talk
see-
about
I don't see
HoloLens, they
that.
make it seem like it's a long way away. And I'm not, HoloLens will obviously be at E3 and E3 in the future, but I just don't think this is it.
I don't know if it's going to be a big gaming focused thing. I think it's going to be something that you can do with gaming, and it's probably cool for some people. But I think it's a multi-purpose. I think their idea is a multi-purpose type deal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's really cool
unless
technology.
Unless they have an event for HoloLens before this, I can't imagine they're going to get too much into HoloLens.
Right.
Because
They're
it'd be
gonna
weird
have-
for them to
well,
say, it works, and look at this very early tech demo, which we're going to show 2 journalists, and then we're going to take it to a gaming show. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
they'll have their own event for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have HoloLens studios, but the thing is that what those did, LXP, SOTA, Platform Next, and I think there's another one, Function Studios, but they were all at the Windows 10 event. The Mars demo, some of the other demos. So the studios that they do have, I mean, they're obviously probably working on more than one thing.
Yeah.
But we've already sort of seen a bit of what they're working on, so I wouldn't expect them to go and show, have too much to show now anyway. So, yet.
Well, let's move along then.
So Dustin, I got some
Yeah.
big news for you. You're gonna like this.
What?
Marvel and Telltale are partnering for a game in 2017.
Oh
Okay.
man, that's awesome.
I know it's not DC, but
I was
still.
about to say, I'm a DC guy. I mean, you're sitting here like, this is big news for Dustin, and then it fell flat. Well, that's cool.
What
You don't
is
like that at
Telltale
all?
working on?
Come on.
I'm more of a DC guy. I'm sorry. Like, Marvel's
I
interesting.
know you're more of a DC guy, but this is, comic book superheroes working with Telltale. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. I like it. But
Okay.
They're also working with fucking Minecraft.
Yeah.
I know.
Look, the thing is,
Oh man.
That's a good thing.
I enjoy Telltale so much. But their games are slowly starting to wane on me. Just a little bit. If Telltale comes out and then they show this Marvel, Minecraft, whatever next gen games that they're doing on a new engine,
Just Minecraft Marvel presented by Telltale.
They should have stayed away
The same
from
thing. It'd be
Minecraft.
funny.
Minecraft is just a whole. I don't know how they're gonna pull that one off because that's just weird.
no, it's easy because it's
like a new
just
IP.
it's doing the Lego movie. Like, it's literally, how are you going to pull off Legos? Like, that's easy. We already sell themes to Minecraft. We can have a Simpsons themed character in Minecraft the movie, or Minecraft the Telltale game, or whatever they decide. They're gonna rip off what Lego does easily. The
I don't
question
know.
is,
It doesn't have the same vibe like the Walking Dead type series where it was like that spin-off of the Walking Dead. It was just so interesting. But Minecraft, it's like, come on.
look, Steve is a very interesting person. If you knew a person that could go up to a tree and just punch it and break it down like that, I think you'd write a movie about it.
They're gonna deal with Hero Brian.
Minecraft is like a destructible environment. I mean, it's open world. Telltale games, that's not their strength. I mean, it's pretty linear. Even though you can do a lot of things, it's still pretty linear. I'm just curious to see how they pull that one off.
No, I agree, but I think they're more looking at it as we can do whatever story we want because there's not a story there.
I have faith in it just because of how they've handled Borderlands.
Yeah. But I guarantee you Microsoft has more input than any other studio when it comes to what they're going to do with Minecraft for Telltale. I bet they're concentrating on that very hard. But let's move on, people. Let's talk about the biggest news of the week, without a doubt. Everybody's been talking about it. The Batman v Superman trailer. No, Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront will have offline single player and won't use Battle Log on PC. That is fucking amazing.
That's really good.
That is fucking great. I can't believe I'd be tempted to buy it on PC just because I don't have to use Battle Log. Because that system is atrocious. And a side story to this, Star Wars Battlefront will have playable women stormtroopers. Now, this has been a controversy in the trailers for the new movie, the game. I don't care if there's black stormtroopers. I don't care if there's female stormtroopers. But could you please explain why they're not all clones? That's all I want, an explanation. Tell me, hey,
true.
the clones died, and then we
you.
need to... Okay, you just give me a second. But, like, I want to know, did the clones die? And then they were like, hey, we need to start putting recruitment centers up everywhere. Then everybody starts becoming stormtroopers. That's awesome. But I think they need to actually put that in the universe, like in a movie. Because the books aren't canon anymore. It's just the movies.
So I think this is explained in Star Wars Rebels, the animated series, but basically because the clones were grown so quickly, right, to get to the point where they could fight really fast, they accelerated that accelerated aging killed them off. So they ended up just recruiting from Outer Rim colonies and stuff like that to fill the ranks. So that's why.
All right. Well, they need to put that in a fucking movie. I want to see...
Who knows?
Maybe they will.
I want to see citizenship... No, service... what is the motto in Starship Troopers? Service...
Service for citizenship.
Yeah. No, but it has a better saying than that.
They're gonna have to explain it somehow in the new movie coming out based on the characters we've seen. So
yeah, no, I'm all down for it. I'm cool with it. I don't want to come off as like some kind of
service guarantee citizenship.
Yeah, that's what it is. Service guarantee citizenship. But I want to see those like Starship Trooper posters in Star Wars where it's just like, yeah, you need to become a stormtrooper. You need to fight for fucking the dark side. Like fucking, this shit's great. I love it. I'm just. Like Vern said, I'm kind of a comic book nerd. I'm just like a nerd overall, so I want to know all the little story elements to it and why things are happening the way they're happening. And I love getting into a universe like that because Star Wars is really very, very... I don't know. Star Wars is all right when it comes to its lore because they've kind of killed everything since they're going, the movies are the only canon. But it seems like with the resets and modern universes, like nothing really has a very
defined feature set.
Because I was just thinking, like even Star Trek has now completely been reset. Like they just fucking fuck everything. We're gonna just do what we want to do.
The only thing I hope is that they bring back Galactic Conquest because that was just such a fun mode. It was, you got to make your own battle path and have upgrades, and it was just a fun mode. I do hope they bring it back in some way, shape, or form. I mean, but the thing is, like right now, it's like don't even bother pre-ordering it from some. It was Forbes or whoever it was, which is like, shut up. Have you touched the game? Shut up. You know, it's one of those stupid things where, you know, people are so defensive of this thing or that thing or consumer activism and all this sort of crap. It's like there's a point where reaching beyond what's known is damaging to the game before it's even out. And when you're speaking from nothing but bullshit and from hearsay, it is an issue to me because it's like they have a marketing that they're going to do. Don't tread over that marketing until it starts. At that point, fuck them. Go nuts. But until then, all this baseless speculation is just going to make people hate something they haven't seen yet. So, and that's not good for any game. It doesn't matter who it is. That's bad for people. So, I hope they cut that shit out real soon.
I just hope it works, the launch. I think that's what a lot of people hope.
Yeah.
So, Happy Wars is available now.
So is SWAT on Master Chief Collection.
Ooh.
SWAT.
People are going to be super excited about SWAT in the Master Chief Collection.
A SWAT playlist, because SWAT game modes have been available just like custom games, not a playlist.
Separate playlist. Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, people are gonna love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Happy Wars. You can
We're gonna
download
have
it
to play
now.
some tonight.
No, we gotta wait until Monday.
But does it have to be completely
It's gotta
fresh
be a
reaction?
first experience.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the
We'll
point.
wait. That's hard to ask. Well, at least we can play SWAT tonight.
There's plenty we can play. I think you have enough games, and so do I.
I know. All right, let's talk about Black Ops 3 Ember tease. I like the teaser to it. I thought it was good. It seemed more like a movie than a fucking game, the tease did. But I don't think I'll buy it because it's fucking Call of Duty and I'm fucking tired of it.
People have noted just how similar it is to Deus Ex, and that it seems to be less about robot limbs and more about augmentation.
Yeah.
Which to me is always interesting because I'm a huge fan of the Ghost in the Shell series, which is all about human augmentation and stuff like that. So, I'll be invested in checking it out. I haven't bought Advanced Warfare yet. I'd like to. It seems like I'd enjoy it, but the full reveals in 3 days, so we don't have long to wait.
I'm curious. So I like COD.
I liked Advanced Warfare, the campaign.
Steve liked Advanced Warfare.
It's good.
Just saying, I didn't.
All right. Well, I guess we should talk about Conquer. Conquer's out.
Oh yeah,
It's
so
$10 if you want the episode and the creation pack for it, and it's $5 if you just want to play the episode.
God, there's
Of Conquer's
that trailer that they showed of all the stuff people had made. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
pretty
I
impressive.
forgot just how incredible Project Sparked is for that sort of stuff.
Well, I really love the Plants vs. Zombies clone with the fucking the characters walking across it. It was just perfect. It was like, yeah, that's Conquer.
Yeah.
That's it.
And one of the things they did like what our idea for New Conquer was, where he goes through different games, right? They had one where he was like basically Alien Isolation, but it was Conquer, and like you could see like one of the dead corpses of I guess it was a squirrel or whatever. And it's like that's ultimately what Conquer would be if it was made modern. It's a parody of a bunch of video games, because Conquer back in the day was a parody of a bunch of movies, and nowadays people would rather they parody video games.
They're finally stealing our idea. That's all I know.
Maybe the guy who made that was a show listener.
But I'm dreaming that one day the resolution will change and you're picking up stuff in Conquer. I think that'd be great. But yeah, Conquer looks awesome. I don't know if I'll buy it. I'm gonna play some of these levels that make stuff. I don't know. Like
$5.
Yeah.
$5. I'm gonna get it and see.
I'm going to get the $10 pack, even though I have no intention, just to give them money and say, hey, if you want to make more Conquer, here is my £8 contribution.
It's a good idea, actually.
All right, let's move on. Well, there's no other news. Anybody have any news?
That's all.
There is one other piece of news.
Go ahead.
No. Well, go ahead, Michael. Mine's kind of a big piece of news.
Jason from Mortal Kombat X is coming out May 5th. So, yeah. Play that horror movie icon. He's going to be out soon.
Okay.
Very soon.
All right. Microsoft posted earnings, their quarterly earnings,
Ouch.
and Xbox was down, 24%? I believe.
It's 1.6 million 360 plus Xbox One shipped.
Yes.
Wow.
So what was going on is they had done a shitload of promotions when it came to they lowered the price of the console. They doing tons of games. They allowed people to throw in their games. They fucking gave people discounts. They did a million ways from Sunday to get people to buy Xboxes. And even though people did buy Xboxes, now it's coming to bite them in the ass because now they got to pay for all that. And that's what we're looking at. That's where you start seeing huge
that, and there's no
discounts.
Titanfall for this quarter.
Yeah.
So they don't have that big game to push consoles, and also this is probably partly from over shipping to the retailers through the holiday season as well. So there's a lot of contributing factors to this.
Yeah,
A lot of it has to do with. Honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with all the discounts. Really
Big
does.
part of it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, over here, to talk about overshipping, you can still buy the Sunset Overdrive and Call of Duty Xbox Ones. Like the prices keep getting slashed and slashed and slashed. And I
For the
assume it's
white console still?
yeah,
You can't find
250.
it anywhere here.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, in America, it's sold out within like weeks.
Really quickly, yeah.
But over here, I mean, I don't know whether they just allocated wrong, or whether or not they just didn't sell what they did send.
I mean, Xbox has always been a very American-centric brand. It's never had much of an attachment anywhere else in the world. So
No, but Great Britain was very strong.
It's big, yeah.
But
who knows?
all right, let's unless we want to talk about that anymore, I'm gonna move on from that.
I mean,
Wait, so was it 1.6 Xbox One, or was that including 360?
That's including
as well?
360,
Yes.
Oh.
which I don't
What do you
imagine
think-
they sold a ton of them, but
How
yeah.
much do you think they sold Xbox? And are they over for the same period last year? Do you know if they sold more?
I sold more last year.
Year over
Well,
year?
No, I wouldn't be
In-
surprised if they sold more this year, but their revenue's just down because of the
Yeah.
discounts they put on it.
It's probably more Xbox Ones than last year, but I don't know.
Well, in the MPDs, they were up for January and February, but down for March.
Yeah.
So, but they might be down quite a bit for March, so it might actually end up evening out a
Being-
bit.
Close, yeah.
But
Do you guys think it was a good move for them to discount the Xbox like that?
oh, definitely, they needed to.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
They
I
had-
think their problem was that they put the price back up. They should have just left it down. I think that killed a lot of momentum.
Well, yeah. But then, I mean, I think they had to, for the small print, that they said it was limited.
Hmm.
But,
Yeah, it was.
yeah. They're going to drop to $2.99 this holiday as well.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness!
They have to.
Pounds or American dollars?
Dollars.
Dollars.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
Now,
already
do they still
$2.99.
make? Do they still make a profit off of those, or are they?
They
Losing
will.
it?
By the time that console comes out, that version, they're going to be the production cost is going to be really low. That's why they spent so. That's what people don't realize. That's why they spent so much money with AMD is for them to keep on producing smaller chips for them, so that they could get the production cost down as fast as possible.
Oh, I thought they had like some hidden processor. Like I
No,
read on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah, the hidden processor's there too, but I think when you spend they spent like $4 billion for their processor, but that's for the life of the processor, and it's for.
But why didn't they
making
make a
small,
better
small.
one?
Yeah, like $4 billion. That sounds.
The ESRAM.
that's
The ESRAM
bad
killed everything, man.
Yeah.
They wanted 8
it's a bad
gigabytes.
investment.
They wanted 8 gigabytes of RAM, and the only way to do that, at least when they were designing it, was to go with the ESRAM solution. That's what bit them in the ass.
Yeah.
And that takes up a lot of room on the board, which means they couldn't go with a stronger GPU. Sony, on the other hand, decided to go with 4 originally, which opened up room on the board. And then later on, it ended up being cheaper than they thought it was going to be to add in 4 more. So it's quite a bit of luck, actually, with Sony.
I mean, there was a Eurogamer article that talked about the fact that they were recruiting for people to look at putting DDR4 in Xbox One and all this other stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came up with a change solution for the RAM.
Yeah.
Because because SRAM is expensive in DDR3. I mean, it's not going to be expensive, but as it's less common, perhaps might cause them manufacturing problems at some point. Or at least they were clearly looking into other alternatives. So
I think they're too invested in the SRAM, but I don't know. But yeah, it's a weird position. Well, it's kind of a weird position, but at the end of the day, it's why they've spent so much money with AMD. So they'll just keep refining it to the point that it costs them nothing to produce. But
Yeah, I mean, just comparing it, I mean, what GDDR5 or whatever. I mean, that's just more bandwidth. But I mean, for the ESRAM, you think they
it's
just made that
unified,
decision
too.
due to the latency? Yeah, but they say that
I think it's part of it. I think it's part of it. I think I remember reading something about the ESRAM and Connect being a thing as far as the latency for that. So I don't know if that was part of it too. But more than anything, I think it was just they wanted 8 gigabytes, and
Because they
as far as
wanted all
cost
the
was
UI
concerned.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as cost was concerned, to get 8, they ended up going with the DDR3, and then the ESRAM solution. Now, if they had decided, hey, let's just go with 4 from the beginning, then maybe they could have upped it to 8, and we wouldn't be in the same situation we're in now. But they weren't. I guess that's one of the major criticisms, was it wasn't a gaming focused decision. The reason they wanted that 8 gigabytes was so they could do all the multitasking. So
And it's one of
and
the
Which
all
reasons
the
Sony
isn't-
booted up.
non-gaming stuff, you know.
Yeah, which isn't a bad thing, actually.
No, it
I mean,
isn't. But
they just need to
that's what
look at
forced
that
that
right way.
decision.
Well, and it's also what
That's what
forced
forced the
Sony to go to
decision,
8 when they went, oh, you know, it's not that much more expensive. We can get all these extra fucking features right on top of everything. And let's just boot it up to 8. And they reserve, they reserved like 3 gigs or 3.5 gigs for
Yeah.
media function. And
they did.
It's going to work out phenomenally for them because they got extremely fast RAM and they can just use it however they want.
Well, it just shows the 2 different angles they
Yeah.
took. Sony just said, "Hey, I want to make a gaming machine." Microsoft said, "I want to make an everything machine,"
Yeah.
and they made decisions based on that, and that's what ended up hurting Microsoft in the end.
I mean, the guy who designs the PS4 is still at Sony, and the guy who designed the Xbox One is no longer at
He's gone.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think that
Oh man.
says about all of it.
All
So
right.
I don't
Oh, I'm
I don't
sorry.
have a PS4, but I mean in terms of like I know they had like a lot of updates in terms of like adding multitasking or resuming or suspending features. Like, does that work smoothly?
Right
Where-
now, the
Zoom
PS4
well.
has it's the best gaming console Sony's ever made.
Hmm.
Media-wise, no, not so much. But
Yeah, it's
as
missing
a
a
game
lot of apps, yeah.
console, and that's what I use it for. I don't really use it for Netflix or anything else. It is like the suspend resume works really well. The UI's
Mine
quick.
does not work.
Huh?
Suspend resume. I tried to do it with The Last of Us a couple
There's
of times.
certain games it doesn't work with. That might be one of them. I'm not
I
sure.
used I was just started playing through The Last of Us again. It worked for me. It's weird that
No.
you're having an issue.
Because it's got the sort of yellow light to show that it's sort of on.
That annoys the shit out of me. I wish they would allow you to turn that off.
But I'd load it up and it's just shut. It's getting irritating.
I don't know what it is about Sony and leaving lights on, but Sony loves to do it. Controller,
They love it.
fucking,
They love lights.
they just love
Sony
lights.
love light.
Yeah. I don't know. I
Dolphin,
just,
he brings up the Spotify deal. Yeah, I think Spotify is pretty cool on the PS4, but I actually subscribe to Xbox Music. The reason being is because it works on my Xbox, it works on my iPads, it works on everything. Like
It's got a pretty similar.
yeah, they have very similar selection. Actually, Xbox
Yeah.
Music has the biggest selection of music out of any service on the planet. That's their big thing.
The classical selection on Xbox Music's really, really good too,
Yeah.
which is great for me.
Because I
and
think
for
there are over
everyone.
20 million songs on Xbox Music. It has a bigger library than even iTunes does. It's crazy. But
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting because I just feel like, with the Xbox One, like, yeah, they try to do an everything box, but I mean, it's definitely still a good, gaming console. And
Oh,
I
I
know
agree.
people
It
ripped on it.
is.
Yeah. And I know people ripped on it, but I don't think they should completely forsake like the media capabilities because those 3 different hypervisors, like that's a serious paradigm shift. I think people just need to get used to that. I mean, right now they haven't implemented it well, but the concept just makes sense.
no, but they have implemented it very well. There's a reason why we're getting updates every month, and it's not like destroying
the
our games.
box, right?
Yeah, like we can get all kinds of media features, and they can add all kinds of snap options, and it doesn't mess with our games. But I mean, at the same time, yeah, it's a nice feature. And they're going to keep improving it. I think everybody's waiting on them to speed up the Xbox One because it can not like the Xbox One is fast in the UI when you're not in the middle of combat in a game. Like if you're just like playing or booted up for the first time, or if you're playing I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
It's the app issue though for commonly used things,
No, but I
because
don't
they
have
made
an
friends
issue
an
with
app
those.
and made party an app and made achievements an app. Those things have to load. If
No,
they
they
were
do, but
part,
it's
if
not
they were
an
part of
issue
the
unless
base
you're in the
OS,
middle of a game, in the middle of
I know.
action.
If
Like
they were part of the
if
base
you're
OS,
in
it wouldn't be an
the
issue though.
if you're on the dash and you load up friends, it comes right up.
Oh.
It's not an issue. If you're in like playing Minecraft in a small world, it's not an issue. Friends comes right up. If you're in the middle of fucking Halo and like people are killing you, and you're fucking sitting there like, I need to load up the friends list right now. You're gonna like it's gonna take like 5 minutes to load because the processor's busy doing other stuff. Like that's what it feels like to me. Like it just takes a minute for it to load. But
Yeah, it seems like these apps are like borrowing resources from like a shared pool, and that's affecting things.
Well, and it
They
also
probably
it
yeah.
doesn't just I kind of think there's too many apps open at once, that option. They should make it to where there's one less that's able to be open at once. Because I notice when you shut down apps, the performance is better. So
yeah,
maybe instead of like 4 or 5, how many do you have open at once? Is it 4? I think it's 4
5.
apps in one game,
I
or it's
think
5 apps in
it's
one game.
5. Yeah.
I kind of feel like they should limit that down to 4, and maybe that would help somewhat.
Especially with Xbox Music and like since background music is coming, like free up some resources by doing that.
Sorry that I talked over you, Gene. What else were you saying?
No, that was it basically. I mean, I'm just trying to say like there's a lot of good features that on the Xbox One that I feel like now that they're going with this whole game focused, mindset, like I feel like they're really missing like that portion as well. Like they should still market like, hey, we have all these features.
Yeah,
So I
it
mean,
seems
if
like
anything Sony puts to the table, any new feature that Sony or even Nintendo, they're gonna market the crap out of that. Like they're marketing the crap out of just simple, suspended resume, and people are going crazy for that. And Xbox had that for like ages. So
Well, since
so
launch,
Well,
they've had it
I-
in beta. Yeah.
I think you're going to get a really good streaming experience, though. So
yeah,
they will definitely market it that because that's something that kind of it does change the game a little. Not like as far as on a total scale, but I'm saying as far as the way you play. You could play your game on your Surface or your right now it's or your PC, and then run a PC game and have them both running. It's there's a lot of cool stuff I think that you're gonna have with that. So the updates, yeah, Xbox is a great system. It's pretty sad. It really does suffer from a lot of people who snipe at it and like to kick it down and it's just the world we live in now as Xbox fans. It's just what it is. But for the console, I think it's the better built console for the future. I think maybe not in power, but I think overall,
Software-wise, Microsoft's
software-wise,
beat the crap out of Sony.
HoloLens, I think, is going to be better than the VR. Even though it's going to not be, different.
It's hard to compare.
Hard to compare, but I do think that Xbox is just going to keep evolving, and it's going to pay dividends. It's just a tough time for Xbox right now because they're going to lose this COD deal, and a lot of people are picking up on that and saying that they're also down today 24% year over year. It's a hard time right now for Microsoft, but I do think that towards the holiday when they have all the stuff coming and people start to realize it is good instead of looking at how bad it is or looking for its faults, they start looking for its positives. It'll do the system good. I can't think that the system's dead. I mean, but we shall see.
no way.
People are saying that right now.
Yeah, but it can still take America for sure.
It could still take America. That has to be what they have to think to do because they're not going to win worldwide. They're not going to even come close in Europe. Europe's just they can win maybe UK and America, and that did that for them last generation. It's not going to do it for them. It's not going to win it. They're not going to win hardware. It'll be like 120, like 110 million, maybe to 70 at the end of the day, 60. But they got to win the two. They got to win those two, and that's what they have. They really have to have a good E3, or
They will.
you know, they need a shot in the arm, and I think they're going to get it. It's just
Yep.
waiting is the tough part.
Yeah,
I
they'll have a
think
good
the-
E3 and they got a good lineup.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that Sony have had they've had a sort of a few big games this year already. Their lineup sort of more spread out and that sort of thing. Whereas because Microsoft haven't had any big games, they've had Ori, Scream Ride, State of Decay next week, but they haven't had anything, and we haven't really had much information in terms of announcements since Gamescom. I mean, they weren't at the Game Awards. As I said, they haven't had any major releases, and they're very much waiting for E3 for that. So I think people are sort of getting a bit restless, and that's why there's perhaps a bit of a sort of a difference in press, because Sony have released some the Bloodborne, which was great, and obviously Microsoft had Ori, but Sony have had a lot more to show people, and Microsoft have they've been quiet, and that's usually how they are. But I think once E3 comes around, I think that'll be big, and I think Gamescom again will be big. And Jeff Keighley was talking about sort of partnering with Xbox and getting them to be at the Game Awards this year, and I think next year it will be very different, because they will have games sort of earlier in the year, so there won't be that sort of media silence. So it'll be so rather than at the moment where there's not much, next year there'll be a lot more to sort of go around, and I think people are also probably getting a bit sort of restless, waiting for stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, the messaging will change at E3, but I mean that's how it always is every year. But
Yeah, Microsoft has just been paying for that reveal, that initial reveal. They've been paying ever since till now. Because I mean, you can't tell me that it's really about the games. Because I mean, Microsoft, even though like right now it's kind of drought, it's like a drought right now. But I mean, they've been pretty aggressive with releasing good games.
Games have been good.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that's their problem.
games have never been the issue. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think
even-
it's time to kind of move on from the subject.
Yeah.
Because we
Aw,
are getting a
Steve
little
was
long in the tooth.
talking.
No, that's right, go on.
No, Steve, if you got one more thing you want to put in there, that's fine. But
Yes,
That's
I
just-
want Steve's opinion
it's-
on it.
I mean, Sony even turned around and said that they didn't know what was making the PS4 sell, so it's obviously not their first-party software. It's obviously more than that. I mean,
It's
Microsoft-
it's perception of the Xbox. That's what's selling the PS4.
Yeah.
If the Xbox didn't have such a shitty reputation, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox would be tied, or the Xbox would be ahead because of the quality of games.
yeah.
I've said that since the consoles launched. I'll
Yeah.
stick by it until
mean,
this generation ends.
And Microsoft, it's not
It
like
definitely suffers from it.
they've been talking less about the media stuff, but the monthly updates still had plenty of media stuff in them. So I don't think they've stopped developing it. It's just they're just sort of a bit less vocal about it in things like E3 and their big conferences, which makes sense.
no, they're totally in develop. Like they even have already said, yeah, we're still adding Kinect commands and improving that, and it looks like there's going to be Kinect games, but we'll see how that turns out at E3. I take it. And they also said they're planning to do the Game Awards show next year. Going to have announcements
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
what
They
Steve
plan
was
on
saying.
That's
doing.
good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's
Yeah, that's good.
they were just
That's good
caught like
news.
kind of like, hey, we didn't plan for it. Our PR wasn't set up for it. We didn't have anything ready for it, so we didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, because as I said, this year they haven't had anything really to show there, and next year, they'll have Quantum Break. There's talk that they might have Scalebound in that sort of time period. So there'll be a reason to show things off. Because if you look at what Sony showed off, which was The Order, Until Dawn, and Bloodborne, they were all in the first 6 months of the year. So it's just about, I think Microsoft will be there.
it'll
when they
help
actually
them with
have
the PR
things
cycle.
to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, people. I think everybody's getting tired of hearing this conversation. I am. Y'all are boring.
Yeah.
Let's move on to
That was my
What you been
favorite
playing?
part of the show.
what
We
that me being
Yeah,
an
that
There's
ass.
one
segment.
release.
Releases? Is that
There's one release that we know of. Hobby Wars was worth talking about, but the other one, State of Decay, Survival Edition Year 1 thing, right? It's out soon, 28th.
Yes,
If
Tuesday.
you haven't played State of Decay yet, it's probably the best way to play it because it's a bunch of new content and it's all this other stuff and it looks real pretty and it seems to have been received well enough. So that is
Fortunately,
good
we have
to
an
hear.
expert on that release on this podcast right now, since he had an early copy. and the embargo's over with, so he can talk about it.
I can talk about it. There are a couple of other releases on Wednesday, which is Project Root and Shovel Knight featuring
Shovel Knight, that's right.
Battletoads.
That's right. Yeah. Shovel Knight is a very loved game. When it came out last year, right? Early this year.
PC and Wii U.
PC, Wii U, and 3DS.
Yeah,
it was
3DS.
out on PlayStation 4 this week, and then Battletoads next week, which is a really fast follow-up, actually. And if you've ever played a game called DuckTales, you will like Shovel Knight. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So, Steve, you actually been playing State of Decay?
I think that's a bit of an understatement because according to Xbox Smart Glass, I've played it for 45 hours.
I think that gets caught up when you keep the TV on or something, because it said I was playing 36 hours for Ori, and I was maybe 20, but not 36.
No, but how many deaths are you up to? That's the question.
I've stopped. I finally finished it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got. I think I've got about 1,100 achievement points. So I've put a lot of time into it. It's
wow.
Yeah, because there's 1,500 gamer score, and it's I finished State of Decay, I finished Lifeline, and I'm working through Breakdown. It's a bit more open ended. So I'm on sort of level 2 of that because I spent like 6 hours playing this level. Spent 6 hours playing level 1 of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, it's really good. There's lots of sort of new additions. They've moved over sort of some of the Lifeline community stuff over to the main game. In terms of the technical stuff, I saw a lot of people complaining about the frame rate, and when you drive, I thought that there's a bit of a stutter that occasionally occurs. Like you drive along and then it will sort of, it's like it gets stuck for like a second and then it just sort of carries on. But there are sort of other times when the frame rate does drop a bit when you drive. But I mean, I didn't personally think it was that big a deal. Other people seem to think it was. So I don't know.
It didn't affect you, your playing experience, pretty much. Right? You just dealt with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it first happened, I was sort of a bit surprised by it. But I mean, maybe you just get used to it. But as I said, I put in 45 hours. I was playing it again today. My review's already out. So I've had a really good time. And sort of technically, it is a lot better. They've sort of redone sort of a lot of the sort of lighting, the animations, the combat. If your weapons break, you now have like an unbreakable knife to use, and there's sort of quite a cool sort of way that it sort of attacks the zombies with it. There's some new mission. There's a new mission in it with some supply crates that get dropped, that sort of thing. And it's really good to having being all one package put together, and it's great.
And your review is already up.
Yep, it went up on Wednesday.
I'm gonna check it now.
And I did put up some. I've got about 4 videos up. I do actually have, I think, about 200 gigabytes worth of videos that I need to sort through. But I've got a lot. I've put some up, and I've got some more coming up. But if you played it on Xbox 360, this is definitely a big upgrade. And it's the same great game. Just again,
your site's looking good, by the way. I'm on it right now. Good props to you, man. Good work.
Thanks.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
And you finally got the URL situated. That's gonna be good for you.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, they're obviously working on the next sort of State of Decay sooner or later, and I think there's some sort of stuff with the frame rate because the game's doing a lot in the background that they probably perhaps they just couldn't fix. But it's I loved it. I think the game's great. It's not often that when I sort of play a game I find it so easy to just play it. It was a sort of thing where
the graphics look good. Definitely much better than 360.
Yep, no, they look much better. Like all the sort of character models, the lighting, that sort of thing. Some nice reflections and that sort of thing. It all looks really good. Really nice.
And I never played it. It was always 30 frames per second too. Is it 60 on Xbox or is it 30?
No, it's 30.
It's
30.
actually 30 though on on Xbox One, whereas on 360 it probably never
Right.
was, right?
Yeah, it was.
Rare
But
occurrence.
they
So-
were always honest about the fact that it was janky, and they said, if you don't like that, we understand, but that's how it is. And they released updates to improve it, and I think they had talked about the possibility if it sold well enough of doing a few more updates. So.
All right. Well, we're just going to continue down this line. Have you played anything else, Steve? Or have you just devoted your life to State of Decay?
Pretty much that. I've been plowing on with The Last of Us Remastered as well. And that looks really good. Like, I think the art style.
Is this your first time through it?
No, I played it on PS3. I got it with my PS4. I haven't played Left Behind yet, the DLC, but I figured I'd play the main game again first and then do that. But it's really good. I like it. It's good. Apart from that, I put so much time into State of Decay. I haven't really had time to play anything else. I did play a bit of Mad Games Tycoon again, and I found out that I played it for over 100 hours and didn't realize that you could buy other developers. so
You are
now,
a gamer.
yeah, so now I've been doing that, and I've been buying Romedy and 4D Realms and Tigerhead Studio and Naughty Chicken. They're
They all sound like certain developers.
they do. I sold 4D Realms though because they kept making really crap games for me. So
4D Realms, that's good.
Smart decision.
yeah.
All right.
But that's about it.
Well, I did ask the chat if they had any questions for us, and we got one.
Ooh,
How many times will Phil Spencer change his shirt at E3? Put up your guess.
3 times. 3 times.
Go
I got 3.
5. We're going 5
3.
times.
7.
I'll go for 10.
10 times, right? That's a lot.
I'm gonna go
Go
15.
big or go home.
15, damn.
Oh man,
You see, every time a new game is on stage,
exactly.
and
Even though he's not on stage.
He'll have
No,
a
no.
shirt on for the next game.
No,
he's
but that
gonna
means he'd
announce.
have to get back on stage 15 times. I think that's a
No,
lot. I
There's
think,
just
No,
going to be a webcam on him the whole time.
Yeah, he'll
you
just
see his
take his
reactions.
shirt off and put the other one
You
on.
see his manly
No.
chest.
no, I think you're looking at it the wrong way. He's just going to start ripping shirts off. Like, just,
Right, he'll have a whole bunch on.
just
yeah,
have
right.
one on,
Exactly.
like, all of them
Raw
on at the
ass
same time.
Hulk status.
Yeah.
so he'll start, and it will look sort of like he's put on weight or something, and then what you'll quickly realise is that he's just, he's bulked up, so he's got the strength to tear through his t-shirts.
That would be great. That would be epic.
It's like,
I think they should
like
cut.
Hulkamania.
I really
Did
do.
I have him
I
4
I think
shirts?
for E3, like, they should cut the back of all the shirts. That way you can just rip off each one and keep going.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking hilarious. But, they probably won't. Be great, though.
and they did say they were doing things differently this year, so maybe that's
Hey, they said they're going to do something they've never done before. Maybe they will be doing
I
ripping
wonder
off
what's
shirts.
going to be different. I'm still curious about that.
I think it's just that it's first party. I think you're gonna get a lot of first party stuff. You're not gonna see COD. You're not gonna see Star Wars. Those were staples. You look at previous conferences, especially with Call of Duty. But now you're gonna get Banjo, and you're gonna get Joe Montana football, and
Maybe Joe Montana
Battletoads.
football comes out at E3.
yeah.
They better have a license for that.
I don't think it's gonna get licensed, but that's gonna make the community pissed. But I think it's a possibility down the line it gets licensed on the second iteration, but I don't think right now they have that. If they did, that's a big get. That would be a really big announcement.
Yes, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
No, I think the way they'll do it differently, as you said, is that it will be, hey, here's some stuff we're announcing, and it's coming out very soon. Because Ken Lobb in January mentioned that they had a couple of games between State of Decay and the holidays that were unannounced yet, and they haven't announced anything since. So that and something from Rare, whether it's Battletoads or a 30th anniversary thing of some sort.
You think they do the Dead Rising of last year sooner than Sue? It is available now. No?
They might for
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
Yeah, they should.
That'd be great.
Yep.
If they do that for something like, a Battletoads game,
That'd be awesome.
I think
people,
we're gonna
people
get
would be running out to buy Battletoads consoles.
I think they
or
got to
something.
get this game guy to do the voiceover for it.
how much games are going to be announced that we're going to play in 2015 for Xbox at E3?
Not many.
There'll be. I think there'll be more.
I would
than
I would
you
ex-
think.
Six, huh?
I'd expect it from Bethesda. to get games that are going to come out this year that we'll be playing. They'll announce, but
I think, I mean, Press Play and Twisted Pixel, I think, are definite candidates for announcing and releasing.
Mhm.
The Joe Montana game, maybe.
Joe
Yeah,
Montana,
I'd
possibly
be shocked
something
if that doesn't come out this year.
yeah, I agreed.
rare. Gears of
Banjo,
War,
I mean, Battletoads, possible.
Gears of War something as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
probably about 5 games, possibly.
I mean, and they'll have other downloadable games. I
If
think
they
other
get
partners.
5 games, that's a really, really, really good second half of the year. If they get 5 games, that's a lot. I would
Yep.
say 3. I would say you get Gears, you get Twisted Pixel game, and you get Montana, and maybe you get, I doubt it, but you get Battletoads, maybe, I don't know. Could be. So it could be 4. I mean, that's pretty good, though, with their lineup already. But, that's the big thing about E3. We find out stuff like that,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
I
think. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I was just to say. I hope they announce something like another EA Access type of deal with like another publisher, like maybe like something
That'd be
else.
cool. Like Activision. Well,
Ubisoft
not
Access.
Activision.
Ubisoft, yeah, one of those guys.
Ubisoft for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ubisoft will be all over that.
That'll be their game. They show the Division, third party wise. They'll show Division. I think that they I think they're gonna get Fallout 4, so they'll show that, and those will be the 2 big third party presentations.
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, they won't get exclusive. They'll just get the marketing deal, or they'll show it at the E3 floor. Where it's still coming to
That's
everywhere. But
huge.
just like
Yeah.
they would, they might get the marketing deal on that. I mean, I don't know. That's. I don't think there's gonna be as much third party, previously, and I think you're gonna get. I don't know if you get maybe a little talk about HoloLens. I think Sony's gonna have a VR, big VR. But
Yeah, they're
not-
going to have a lot of VR stuff. Morpheus is probably going to take up a lot of that
Yeah.
E3, I'd suppose,
Well, they do a 3-hour one, right? They do it like theirs.
Yeah,
are like,
theirs is
Yes.
really long.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Microsoft might never is always like an hour and a half by the T.
Yeah, Sony's
Yeah.
like 2.5 hours, I think, right?
They're They
Yeah.
base themselves on 2.5 hours, and they always run long.
Mhm.
Because they'll be like, "Hey, let's do fake letters from people and see what they want
That was
to
so
talk about."
annoying. That conference was so
I
boring.
would
man.
really like another Ratchet and Clank game. Well, guess what, Timmy? I
You
got
got
your
it.
letter, and I made it happen just for you, Timmy. But yeah, that's. I'm sorry, I shouldn't joke too much. I want Microsoft to extend theirs. We've talked about this before. Microsoft needs to
2
extend
hours would
theirs
be
to 2
perfect.
hours, and Sony needs to cut that bitch down to fucking 2.
Yeah, Microsoft. I agree with that. I think
Well-
2 hours is smart, but are they gonna? Is Microsoft first?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Microsoft's always
Why?
first.
Why
it's,
is
uh,
that?
yeah.
Why is that?
No, it's
Just for
because
time.
yes, no, it's first because they want to be on TV.
No, but they
And-
haven't been on. They weren't on TV last year, were they?
Yes, they were. Yep.
Were they?
They and that's why their conference is always an hour and a half, because that's the only size. That's the size of the TV
Time
slot
slot.
that they can get.
Yeah.
Whereas the thing is, I mean, last year they had a pre-show where they announced Killer Instinct Season 2, Happy Wars for Xbox One, I think, and some other stuff. And I think that rather than having like a 2-hour show, I mean, Press Play tweeted this week, someone asked them if they were going to be at E3, and they talked about being sort of early at E3 or something. Like it was a, it made me think that Microsoft were going to do like another pre-show, and that Twisted and Press Play would be there.
Maybe
I
a
could see
bigger
them.
one, too.
I could see them releasing World of Tanks for E3. on
Maybe
the
they'll
Xbox
do a
One.
bigger pre-show that has more of a focus on smaller games and ID at Xbox, and that's what they're talking about, doing something different.
Yeah, didn't they confirm World of Tanks for the holidays?
Oh, did they say the holidays? Okay, I know they confirmed it
I
was
think
coming. I
that,
just
that's
wasn't sure
probably
when.
coming. Yeah.
No,
I
no,
hate
we
free
know
to
it's
play.
coming. I just didn't know when.
I can't stand free to play.
World of
wish-
Tanks is really good, though. It's one of the few free-to-play games that are really good.
I'll give it a try, I guess.
Tim, Fable Legends will change your mind.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
only
blow
like
your mind.
I like Killer Instinct where you can buy. Like I just bought the Dead or Alive 5 just came out, the full game, and I just bought it. I just like to buy something full. That's just like it's a pet peeve with me. I mean, So I kind of like when I hear free to play, I just instantly just kind of get negative about it.
You don't like Smite because Smite has a purchase all option. Pay once, get everything.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even try Smite, but I'm just turned off by free to play. Maybe it's because I'm older. I like something to have a set amount to buy. Like I said, I just bought Dead or Alive 5 because it was the full game. It's a full game. You get all the characters. Killer Instinct. I mean, their model's all right, but I could deal with that at least. I can't deal with the other stuff like where guys are buying stuff and they're buying little swords and all these headpieces. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like the format, but not to say it's good. It's just my personal feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk about Fable Legends after what happened this week.
Ah, come on.
Well, okay, so what happened was that is
there any way we can get around this?
No, I was joking. I'm not NDA doing anything. Someone talked about Xbox One being a holiday console, and I said that I think Microsoft were hoping that Quantum Break and Fable Legends would be in the first half of the year, and that obviously if they were, then they slipped. And the creative director of Lionhead then came and said, well, no, we didn't.
David
and he owned me on Twitter, although I think he might have misread what I said. So now I can't say anything about Fable Legends because I get in trouble.
Fuck. I think. Well, I'm just gonna go out there. I think the game is gonna be good. I think the graphics look. I mean, I saw another screenshot and I was like, wow, this game definitely is a looker. So I can't wait until when are they gonna when are people gonna be able to talk about it? When is this fucking NDA gonna end? Seriously, I mean, it's been going on since. Well, I remember it was like a year ago. They were saying it was 900p at first, or it was 720p. I remember there was an article about that it wasn't running full resolution, but they couldn't talk about it.
When I played at an Xbox preview event last year, I played the strategy stuff. I actually sat down with David Ecclebury and played it. He obviously doesn't remember, and he was sort of talked about sort of doing an open beta later on. So I think that perhaps E3 could be them sort of announcing the open beta and then people playing it, because I mean they've done plenty of updates and stuff, although I don't know how much new content's gone into it.
I'm in the closed beta, but that's all I can say. So, but yeah, I'm just strict NDA. So
I understand.
I don't think it. I mean, people were getting into the closed beta and then going on to the Lionhead forums, I heard, and asking where the RPG was, and not realizing so much what it was.
I think it's going to be not to go on. Go on.
No, that was it.
No, I think it's going to be a 2015 title.
Yeah, I think Aaron said it was 2015. Holiday.
At least it'll be open beta in 2015.
I mean, the concept they do have is kind of cool. Like you play with the same player and then it rotates, but all the things are saved. I mean, it's a pretty cool idea. But I gotta, I'm very staunch about, like they said, the free to play. I kind of like have a, I guess a prejudice against it, just because, like I said, I like to buy things that have quantity, just the way I am in life, I guess. But I'll see. I would definitely, gonna give it a try. It's as I don't really play a lot of free to plays. I know that one game that Sony had, and then it came out for Xbox. I didn't even try it, but I will definitely. I'm interested in Fable, because I know all these people under NDA are just always going to smirk on their face when they talk about it. They can't say anything, but they smile.
You're like, is it a good smirk or a bad smirk?
All right. Well, let's move on to more games people have been playing. We got through Steve. Tim, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I played Goat Simulator. That's fucking garbage. Wow.
I think you and Michael can have a conversation on that one.
Honestly, I played Goat Simulator and it turned me off a little. I just was like, this is what I'm playing.
What did you know going into it?
I just thought it was. I knew it was a silly game. I don't know.
He thought it was a simulator. Like he thought it was
I don't
the goat herder.
I don't know. My
simulator
wife even my
on Steam.
wife watched it and she goes, and my wife doesn't give a shit about video games. Like like I try showing her, she just doesn't give a care in the world about it. But she's
Flying.
like, oh, she's like about that game. She goes, ew. She goes, what's with that game? That looks horrible. It's just the goat's not even walking on the ground, and I'm just like, yeah, it's pretty bad. So I played that and played a little Mortal Kombat. I tried Dying Light. I'm trying to get back into, but I haven't. It was my birthday this week, and I went to a Mets game. I've just been busy. So I played Goat Simulator, and it was completely a letdown.
All right, Mike. I guess that's a good time to transition into what you've been playing, because I think you've played some Goat Simulator.
I've been playing Goat Simulator.
How do you like it, Michael?
I got all the gamer score in it. It's a game you have to be in on the joke, otherwise you're gonna hate it. And if you don't understand why it's supposed to be funny, I can definitely understand why people don't like it. Because if you don't like what's funny about it, which is clipping and stuff getting stuck in stuff and really bad physics, if you don't like that, then yeah, the game's a complete and total turnoff. And I agree, it is not a good game. The developers admit this. They know it's a joke. They know it's not supposed to be serious. They tell you on the store page, go spend your $10 on a hula hoop or a real goat. It has more value than this game. But because of the power of the internet and because of the power of YouTube, people enjoy it for its flaws. And there's some stuff about it that's kind of fun every once in a while. Sacrifice people to become a satanic goat's pretty cool. Being able to become dead goat's pretty cool. Dead goat being dead mouse, but as a goat. And make people dance at will.
Game.
It's a great game to stream and all that sort of stuff. I spent $10 on it, and I'm kind of like, eh. But the thing is, the studio that ported the game over has been very open with people and talking to them about, this thing and that thing and the other thing, which is good. I love when studios do that. So they're talking about, if you talk to us enough, we'll port over the MMO simulator part, which is probably the best thing they've added to Goat Simulator, is where it's an MMO. Not really. It's an MMO simulator for a reason. But it's not something that you should play if you're looking for a serious exploration. It's something you play if you want to bounce off a trampoline and slam into a robot.
Like, Mike, I just have a question. What like when I was playing, like I could either, what was the falling down? Like you could fall down, like play dead.
You could toggle ragdoll.
What does that mean? What is that used for?
It means
in
that
a lot of shooters, they use an engine called like ragdoll effect. So when you get shot and you die, your body falls down in kind of like this natural weird way, like, and you're laying across the ground. They just let you do it, like whenever if you're moving forward,
there is a purpose. There is a purpose. When you activate it, you fly further.
Yeah.
Because there's an achievement to bounce on 5 trampolines, and the best way to do it is to activate it, so you can fly your goat further.
When you fly, is it inverted? Like, because I cannot get off. Like, I can get off the ground sometimes, but other times it's just smashing it. I smashed into a gas station and blew it up. I was like, I can't. Like, is it inverted or it's not inverted when you? How do you fly?
It's terrible. It's terrible. That's how you fly. There's a point where you can turn on low gravity and gliding, and you can sort of kind of fly, but there is no explicit flying. It's more just general air control.
Yeah.
Okay. Like running and jumping over something, and then initiating it in midair.
Yeah.
To a ragdoll.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a joke game. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got to give it a little more time. It makes me laugh for some reason. I was just walking around and just batting. I didn't know. I thought something would happen. I was waiting for my achievements to start popping up.
Go activate the Goat-born mutator.
All right, I'm definitely gonna give it a shot again. So you could say that much about it. It hasn't turned me off to the point where I won't play it.
It's like I said, it's kind of a joke game. Right. But
Well, it's
and like I
$10
said, it's a
too,
joke.
so-
It's a joke you have exactly. It's also $10. It's a joke you have to want to appreciate, and if you do, it's great fun. If you don't, you can give it a miss. Wait for it to go on sale. Wait for it to be ID at Xbox. I picked it up because at a point I hated it, and I was like, okay, I see the appeal. I guess I'll play it, and I played it, and I got all the gamer score, and I was like, that's fun. That's fine. Side note: fuck the Flappy Goat achievement. Just God. It's intentionally designed so that the little goat that you play Flappy Bird with is a larger hitbox than the actual goat, so it's easier to lose than it should be, and you have to get 10 pipes. Man, I did play another game though this week.
Okay.
And it's it's a game called Honey Pop.
What kind of game are you playing, Michael?
I think we need to move on. This is the after show
It's-
podcast like discussion. Adults only.
it's a dating sim match 3 game, and that's all I'm going to
Yeah.
say.
Wow.
But there's an uncensoring patch that comes out. So
Oh gosh.
dating sim match 3 uncensoring patch.
Wow.
Put
So
some
who's
of
your
those-
Honey Pop's
Honey
name?
Pop, man.
Vern, don't go too far. Mr. Waifu.
Honestly, the actual match 3 part of the game is really cool because there's a lot of like power-ups and stuff, but do some research for yourself. It's not for everybody. It's like if you're turned off by stuff like Dead or Alive, you're not gonna like this game either. Let's just say that.
All right. Well, I think it's time for us to talk, Vern. Talk about our magical adventure into D&D on the Xbox One.
That was riveting.
Neverwinter.
I don't remember any of the story. So I skipped
Was
through all
there a
of it.
story? I know we realized if you press skip, like you still heard the person talking in the background. So you're like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
not too bad.
I don't remember any of it, but yeah, that's cool.
Because you could just ignore it easier.
How
But-
far did we get? We get like level 5 or 6 or something.
Something
We
like
didn't
that.
play.
We got
Yeah.
far enough to be able to review it and as a should you
It's a
buy
free-to-play
game.
Yeah. Should you download game?
I think you should. If you have a group of friends and you don't have no money and you want something to play, I think it's good enough for that.
Yeah, it is janky though, man. That frame rate is terrible. It hitches all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you're in a dungeon with nothing going on, like staring at a wall, and you do a 360, it still hitches.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's eh.
Yeah. It's hard. It's
Gameplay's pretty fun though. I mean, it seemed all right.
It's a do not buy game for me.
You can't buy it.
I know.
You
But
can spend lots of money in it though.
yeah, I don't know. Like I enjoyed the time we played, but I think that's
Yeah.
much more because we were playing together
Mhm.
than the actual game. I like how rough it is in some aspects. Like I like the fact that it's like, oh, it's really like D&D where you're sitting there like, okay, this person, he can avoid fire damage, and I got this attack, and like that's really nice. That's really informative and great. But then we were trying to figure out how to dance in an MMO,
Yeah.
and that took about like 20 minutes of giving up and going to YouTube and looking it up and finding out there's like
Yeah.
6 button commands you got to hit till you get to the prompt so you can dance.
Which
But-
is an issue with it being on PC and then being transferred to the Xbox.
But it's a bad
One.
transfer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's not
a
like Elder Scrolls.
bad
Like Elder
transfer.
Scrolls, they knew it was coming to console from the get-go, so they
Yeah.
actually made design decisions from the beginning. So it made the transition not as hard, I assume. With Neverwinter, they didn't think, oh, this is definitely coming to console, so they had to take a PC game and translate it to
Yeah.
console.
But I don't think they did.
With that in mind, I think they did all right actually. So
We'll agree to disagree on that one. I would have told them motherfuckers to go back to the drawing board personally.
But yeah,
Because
it's all right.
It's not like you're playing with PC players or playing with PS4 players. You could have changed it to make it work better.
It's a nice addition to the free-to-play lineup on the console, though. What do we have now? We got Warframe, we got Neverwinter, now we got Happy Wars. What other free-to-play games are there right now? Killer
Yeah,
Instinct is sort
Spark.
yeah, Project Spark. So yeah, there's a nice lineup of free-to-play titles now for people who just want to try something out. So it's worth a download.
And there's more coming out soon. So
Yes,
And then they'll have stuff like World of Tanks,
for Tanks and Fable Legends.
if
Gigantic.
they bring Warface to Xbox One, which I kind of hope they do. That was the Crytek free-to-play shooter. That'll probably be free-to-play. The same thing with Loadout, assuming they bring it to it.
Well, other than that, what else did I play? Personally, I played Metal Gear Solid on Twisted Tuesdays on the PS4.
Tracer.
Yeah, I switched over to the day, as part of Twisted Tuesdays. And
Wait, you got a day out of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes?
No. I got an hour out of Metal
Got
Gear
a couple
Solid 5.
hours tops.
No,
You got
not a
an hour.
couple. No,
got an hour?
couple
An
may
hour.
be a lie. My finished playthrough time was an hour 24 minutes, and that's with not having any idea what the fuck I was doing and not playing a Metal Gear game in a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't see why it would take somebody their first playthrough any longer than that, because at the very beginning of the game they kind of say go that way, you need to go over to this, get that person out, listen to the audio log, you do that, and then they're like, you hear a flag and a helicopter and a large fucking gate opening, and you hear all those things, now go find the other person. And I thought that was really cool. It was oh, I gotta actually listen and figure out where this was. And then you realize when you look at the map, there's only one fucking facility that could ever possibly have this person in it, because where the yes, it's gonna be on an open road that goes all the way back to that facility anyway. So you know where you gotta go right off the bat. So you go to that facility. I ran in circles for a minute, not realizing that I kept passing the dude up, and I started just killing guards eventually. And then I finally pick him up, take him out the door, and then I watch some chick blow herself up, because she didn't have just one bomb in her, she had two. And who would have ever thought, check for 2 bombs? I mean, it's a Kojima game, it's
Baby
a Metal Gear
bomb.
universe, yeah. It's a baby bomb. It's a baby bomb. And the idea that they charged people $40 for this game is horrendous. It's a good $5-10 game. It's a baby bomb.
Yeah.
I agree with Jason though. Forza's demo had more content. That they charged people $40 for this game.
Well, the thing is that
is
once you complete the main
horrendous.
mission, you do unlock a lot of other missions, and some of them are during the day. If you want to get all the achievements, you could probably get, there are a few hours to get out of it, but it's definitely not $30 to say.
No.
And they made serious bank on that as well.
Oh, they did,
Yeah.
but I think Forza's demo, you can get more game. And I'm not talking about Fast and the Furious. I'm just talking about the Forza Horizon 2 demo. There's more content in that than this. I just don't see how you charge $30 for it.
Konami needs money.
Well, they're going to need a producer too. Oh, too soon.
They might need
too
some
soon.
lawyers now too.
A
Yeah.
writer, technically. He didn't produce
No,
it.
you guys didn't hear about that?
What?
There was that whole thing with the doctor who was doing the head transplant or something.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and people thought it might
be
have
viral
been
marketing.
viral marketing, and it looks like it isn't. And now he's going to be suing Konami.
Yep.
Why?
Because he's using his They're
Because
using
they
his
used his
likeness,
likeness in
and
the
they're
game.
using it's not just he kind of looks like the guy.
He
They're
looks
using
just
the
like him.
fact that he looks exactly like him, and that he's doing a head transplant. Well, the head transplant in the game is totally a rumor. It's never been confirmed. It's all.
But he's a surgeon in the
hypothesis.
game.
Yeah, he is a surgeon, but
He looks exactly the same.
you could probably get a judge to throw that out. But if somebody does get their head replaced in Metal Gear, you're totally fucked. You've ripped this dude's everything off. We know you're full of shit.
Well, and I think there may be evidence of Konami either meeting this guy or finding something from this guy. Like there's some evidence that it is stolen, I think.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be
This
hard
is-
for them to like explain away.
It's fucking Kojima. This is what this is. He is a magnificent bastard.
You know what I want? I want Hideo Kojima to come out on the Xbox stage and go, Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4 and Xbox One fully remastered. Just walk off. That would be
that's not
awesome.
happening.
It's not happening.
Eh.
I want to play all those games.
No, but
There's
the
a-
issue with the remastering though is Metal Gear Solid 1 can only be remastered on Nintendo consoles. Microsoft, or no, not Microsoft, Nintendo owns the license for it. That's why you never saw it come on the PS3 or PS4 because of the Wii
To
game.
emulate it, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mean Metal Gear 1?
The Metal
Metal
Gear
Gear
Solid
Solid
1.
one.
Yeah,
I
that
think it has
one,
to do with
Nintendo
Twin
has the
Snakes or
rights.
something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody wants Twin Snakes. Just put the PS1
No.
game on it.
No, but people want a remastered version of it.
Yeah, just do it like Resident Evil.
Don't call it Twin Snakes.
Well, I think that there's
don't
weird
do that.
parts where you can't remaster it after it's been remastered and then call it something different because Nintendo owns. For some reason, however that contract came out is because Nintendo owns the rights to do it.
To remasterings
Yeah.
of that game.
So
I mean, even if it's just 2 and 3 and 4, or just 4 for Christ's sake, or it's really should be whichever one leads up most to 5 that isn't Ground Zeroes,
yeah,
which
It
would
would
be
be
3.
3 and Peace Walker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 3 is pretty good from what I've seen. There's a YouTuber named Matthew Matosis who has done an over 30-minute video on every Metal Gear Solid game. And he does a nearly hour and a half long video on Metal Gear Solid 4. He goes in depth of each of them. And they're pretty good explanations of
Yeah, the order's
what the
weird.
game is.
The order's like 3 and then Peace Walker and then Metal Gear 1, 2.
Then
I mean,
4.
sorry. No, I'm sorry. 3, Peace Walker, the Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain or whatever. Then it's Metal Gear 1.
Then 2. Then
So
Revengeance.
then 2. Then Metal Gear Solid. Then Metal Gear Solid 2. Then 4. It's
And
really
then
weird.
Slit my wrist.
And
Then
Yeah.
Revengeance.
isn't the Phantom Pain supposed to be a sequel to a hidden ending in Peace Walker, which was a fucking PSP game?
Probably.
so.
Knowing
Yeah.
Kojima, it is.
That's Kojima.
But I mean, as you know, as you guys said about Twin Snakes, but I don't see why they couldn't just put the original one on PS1 on there, like,
Support
and
it,
just
yeah.
prettify it and stuff. But
Final
I think
Fantasy
it's-
7 it? Is that what we're going to call it?
Pretty much,
What-
yeah.
I mean,
no,
it'd
'cause you're
it'd
gonna
actually
put
be a
some effort into
re-release,
it.
though.
You're going to put some actual effort into it. Do some nice.
They're gonna have to change the line
Patience.
about plugging the controller into controller port 2, for example, and push the select button to answer the codec.
Hold the
they gotta
sync
change
button to confuse them.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll
That.
do something.
They can't do. So you've been playing Castlevania. They can't do that anymore. For example, for Psycho Mantis or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, they could.
Um,
They could look at your
Playing
achievements.
Killer Instinct.
Yeah. I see you've been playing Call of Duty again. All right.
I mean, no, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Unless you want to talk about Metal Gear more.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because I mean, Konami supposedly wanted Metal Gear Solid 4 on 360, and Kojima said no. So I think as much as Kojima leaving is a bad thing, it could be pretty good for getting all the rest of them re-released
Yeah.
sort of properly. So thing is because the PS3 controller is literally the worst thing I've ever held in my hands, and
I
I don't have
agree.
it anymore.
I'm not a fan.
It
I
makes
would
my
like
arms numb.
I would like to be able to play the game with a controller that is not terrible.
All right. I'm going to also say I did play Geometry Wars Dimensions again because I always give that game a shot every time they
Why?
patch it. Because I'm the biggest Geometry Wars fan on the planet, but I can't stand this game. So I get through one round of it again, and then I just like fuck this game and I turned it off again forever.
Just go and buy
Till the
We Are
next
Doomed
update.
instead.
I know. All right, and then I played Minecraft. I worked on Bear Cub and Sky Statue. It's awesome. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Bear Cub and Sky is great, and we're going to continue to work on this Minecraft map. That's the plan. till I made a full working bank on the pod. I'm sorry, I just saw something ruined it. But I made a full working bank with a functioning vault in it using redstone, and it's all covered in obsidian so people can't break in. It's a fucking thing of beauty. It really is. And I plan on doing a lot more redstone work and playing a lot more Minecraft. And then I started posting pictures to or videos to Eric, and I gave one to you too, Vern. I'm not sure if you looked at it, but people building computers in Minecraft. And somebody
CPUs, or have they gotten to full computers now?
No, they have like a desktop with a UI. It's full computer.
Oh wow.
So, don't get me wrong. You're talking about not 8 kilobits of RAM. Like, people have made 8 bits of RAM and have built actual full-on computers with monitors.
Why?
Look, they did something like that. You could put in commands where it would change the time of the day in the game itself, which is really cool.
I don't care that they did it. I just want to know why.
Because
It's awesome.
It took these people thousands of hours. Well, not thousands. It probably took them hundreds of hours to build this thing. And it's cool. I mean, I look at it and I go, I want to build that. But the only person I know would play with me is probably Maria. And trying to explain to her that I have no idea what the fuck we're doing at the same time. But we're going to copy this person's map so we can make an awesome kicking ass computer. It's not going to happen. But it's just cool to see what people have done in that game. And I was going down the rabbit hole of Minecraft. I saw somebody has an add-on for Minecraft called Reactor Craft, where you can make different forms of power sources. Like, you can make nuclear power plants, or you can make steam power plants, or coal ones, or fusion reactors. And I keep going down this rabbit hole, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Why do this add-on? What does it add? And I've never found a reason to add it on to my PC version of Minecraft, other than people just want to make nuclear reactors. Like, it's not like you need power in Minecraft. You got redstone. Like, what's the point? But it's just, it's that Minecraft kind of mentality of just build. No matter what. Always build. But it's interesting, nonetheless. But yeah, I want to build a computer now in Minecraft. I want to. And I need to clear out like a couple mountain ranges so I can build enough RAM so that you can... What's interesting is you got to figure people are manually programming the RAM in the game by hand, each 0 and 1, so that they can make a computer. Which is fucking...
So bizarre.
That's how they get the computer screen to work. They're literally manually programming the RAM with each little piece of stone. So it's awesome that people are doing it. But I just don't know how well it would translate over to console, though. Like, I know the PC version would do it, but it's funny to watch people's rigs just fucking crumble under the stress of simulating an 8-bit computer, even on a monster PC rig. But yeah, that's all I've been doing. I'm sorry to ramble on about that. Other than that, we played Master Chief Collection. That worked out good. I played more Saints Row 4. That was a lot of fun. I haven't really played the new characters in Killer Instinct. Did we talk about Cinder on the podcast?
I don't think so.
Really.
His gameplay reveal was last week.
Cinder looks fucking
It was on
awesome.
Friday, right?
It looks really cool to
yeah.
use.
Yeah, we
to
didn't
play
talk
with.
about Cinder.
Oh, let's talk about Cinder then. Michael, let's talk about how amazing his attacks are. I love the fact that the mask comes off and it's just like a fire face or whatever. It's fucking pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. His win pose is his Killer Instinct 1 win pose, recreated from his cinematic. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing because every character is sort of like inspired by a character from a different game, and he looks like a Marvel character from Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
If I were to suggest a character, look at a character called Nova from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and you'll go, oh wow, there's some similarities there. But he's cocky as shit, which he was in the original Killer Instinct. there's a hour and a half of it that you can check on the Iron Galaxy Twitch stream if you want to watch it in full detail. But you know, it's a really cool character with some fun tools and explosives, and he already has people saying he's imbalanced already because of his burnouts.
No, but he can be punished really hard if he doesn't guess right.
Yeah.
It's all about, like, it seems like his character's all about reading other people. Because if you can read the other person, know what the fuck they're going to do, you're going to punish the shit out of them with your moves. But if you fuck up, you're going to get, like, your attacks don't hit that hard, so you're just going to get screwed up real easily.
That's why a lot of his attacks are about building up potential damage, so you can get into a combo and cash it out. So, he's definitely a well thought out character. It's just hopefully he doesn't come out broken, so people will be bitching about who he is.
All right.
He looks like somebody I like to use. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. All right, Vern, have you been playing anything other than I have?
Yeah, I did. I've been playing a lot of Peggle.
That's
2.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Not much to say about Peggle 2. It's Peggle. So if
Fucking
you like
awesome.
Peggle, you like Peggle.
Have you got all the achievements yet?
No, not even close. I'm not even gonna try to get them all. I'm not like you,
Oh
Steve.
no, that's
I don't
not
do
good
that.
enough.
I
I want
don't
to.
play games into the ground to the point where I don't enjoy them anymore.
Oh hey, that's not fair.
Peggle
I
2 is
know.
easier to 1,000 point than Peggle 1 was, apparently.
Yeah, well, they added DLC, so it's actually more than 1,000 now. I got through all the levels up to that very last one. It's not a real character. I don't know the name of the character. And then I did all the challenges up to the zombie girl or whatever. That's as much as I've done so far.
All
It's
right.
fun though. I like Peggle a lot. I like that feeling of when something awesome happens and you're like, yeah, I meant to do that. I meant to do that.
Yeah, of course.
That's why. That's why
Anytime
I
you
was
get
so,
you get a long shot extra ball or something like that. And
Yeah.
you're just like, I got that. I earned that 100,000 points. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It's
All
fun
me.
though. I like the presentation. I love how exciting the game is for being a stupid little puzzle game. You know,
Yeah.
with the way the music kicks in when you finish the levels and everything. It's awesome. All the
All right, stop singing. We can't. No copyright infringements going on here.
Yeah,
Da, da, da,
Isn't,
da,
isn't,
da,
isn't
da.
Ode to Joy?
It's Beethoven Ninth. Yeah.
Isn't it free? Not free market. Shoot,
Free
what's
use,
that?
like
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
probably is, but people's renditions of it might not be.
Yeah. It would be
Isn't
okay to
isn't
sing it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know, but
Free,
I'm
not free market.
just, you know.
That's one of the things my mom likes. When I played Peggle, the original Peggle back with them, it was whenever I would get an extreme fever, she would go crazy because she's a singer, so she would always go, "Oh, I know this," and it's like, you don't know anything else about the game, though, do you?
All right.
I remember when she tried to play Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful watching people. It's honestly, it's still the dual analog sticks that fucks up most people that don't play games. It's just, it's very complicated.
Thing is, though, you don't need dual analog sticks in Plants vs Zombies. You use one.
I know. I'm just saying. It's just, it's a mind game. Like I was trying to help my parents out, and I was like, "Hey, try this. It's a menu system. You just got to use the D-pad." No, the controller's too complicated. All right, not a problem. It's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. But I think that's going to be it for the show this week, unless anybody has anything else they want to talk about. Nope.
Well, I think we're all good.
We're all good? All right. Please write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. That's letters@xboxuncut.com. We record this show every Thursday at 7 o'clock on Twitch. We love doing the show.
Eastern
we love
time.
being here. Yeah, Eastern time. Not Easter time, but Eastern time.
So
Mine's
we are in the
GMT.
season of Easter.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, yes, please write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. And, write letters for Vern. Vern needs more letters.
I know I gotta read stuff.
Vern is illiterate, and he's slowly learning to read.
Yeah, that's it.
So we
Despite
need
having a
letters.
master's degree.
Yeah. Well, that's part of having the master's degree. He didn't know because they just handed him a sheet of paper. Our goal
okay.
is so he can read so he knows what he got.
Vern knows two things: singing and fucking.
In that order. But, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in this week, guys.
Oh, what about Gene? We gotta thank him for
Gene
being on the show. He's gone. but-
Gene was good. Gene was good.
Gene was awesome. He gave us
So-
much needed flavor to the show.
I'm gonna check for you real quick. You're not here. Thank you for being on, though. That was awesome.
Yes.
Hope you.
But thanks for listening. Thanks for the people in the chat room who stuck with us the whole time. Especially you, guy that
He
left.
stuck around.
The unsung hero has been here since the beginning.
He has. Zorb's over here has been here a long time too.
Yeah.
And Chobel was at the beginning and the end. He
If
didn't
I
care
get
about the middle.
Bird to
Chobel.
sing the unsung hero's name, do you change your name?
Do you think I'm watching? His head just went pop, and his brain just threw out, and he's just like, I have never thought of that before.
Yeah.
You're my
Mine's
hero. All right. But thanks for everybody for tuning in. Thanks for all the people that did watch this live. And we'll be back next week with the exciting new episode of Xbox Live.
See ya.
Peace
Take
out.
care.
All right.
See
Later.
ya.